You are the sweetest thing, yeah. I love all the joy you bring, yeah. But I'm coming back, knocking down the door. I'm coming back, are you ready? Are you ready for more? Are you ready for more? Regrets, oh, I have a few. I tried to change what I cannot undo, but I'm coming back, knocking down the door. Coming back, are you ready? 'Cause I'm coming back, knocking down the door. Coming back, are you ready for more? Oh, are you ready for more? Oh, are you ready for more? Yeah, are you ready for more? And I'm coming back, knocking down the door. Coming back, are you ready? Are you ready? Coming back, knocking down the door. Coming back, are you ready? Are you ready for more? Yeah, are you ready for more? Are you ready? Are you ready for more? Are you ready for more?
Yeah, motivated on focus. Came a long way from the lowest. Yeah, gotta get it the mindset, gotta put it in motion. This is the moment, gotta one up my opponent. Back then they ain't noticed me, now they know it's me. I'm the chosen. It's my time, yeah, I put that on Bible. No excuses, gotta get to the final. Take all of my idols and turn them to rivals. It's all or nothing, man, the trophy is vital. Game time, bet I'm coming in clutch. No hang time, man, they can't keep up. The game's on the line, seconds on the time. Who can't fight? It's gotta be us.
Better under pressure, go ahead and let it fall on me. I'm destined for it all, you better call on me. They say what doesn't kill you make you stronger. All that pain, it done made me to a monster. They say what doesn't kill you make you stronger. All that pain, it done made me to a monster.
Yeah, whole lot of times they doubted I wouldn't be who I am without it. Sleepless nights, I counted. It all paid off, it's really astounding. I had to keep the faith to elevate. Hope for better days, they were coming. Now we can celebrate, know it every day is abundant. Yeah, it's my time, yeah, I put that on Bible. No excuses, gotta get to the final. Take all of my idols and turn them to rivals. It's all or nothing, man, the trophy is vital. Game time, bet I'm coming in clutch. No hang time, man, they can't keep up. The game's on the line, seconds on the time. Who can't fight? It's gotta be us.
Better under pressure, go ahead and let it fall on me. I'm destined for it all, you better call on me. They say what doesn't kill you make you stronger. All that pain, it done made me to a monster. They say what doesn't kill you make you stronger. All that pain, it done made me to a monster.
Our story starts here. We've raced through its turns. We've slid tire after tire through its banking. We've drafted down its never-ending straightaways. We've gone faster than we ever thought we could. Here, in the racing capital of the world, Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Today, hundreds of drivers will take to those historic turns. They will slide through that banking. They will draft down that straightaway. And they will take their shot to win here on the track that started our sim racing journey together. It's a race that demands skill, knowledge, and a little bit of luck. Because for us, this track and these cars, yeah, they may be virtual, but the next 500 miles of racing, that is real. Welcome to an iRacing special event unlike any other. Welcome to the iRacing Indy 500.
Back home again for the 16th time for the iRacing Indy 500 Open Series in Indiana. And 33 drivers will try and see if they can find 500 miles and victory at the end of today's running. A race like no other, a race of the highest caliber, and one which will determine whose name is put in the pantheon of sim racing greats and who will find themselves in a place with only what they've got. I'm Jake Sperry, that's Craig King, alongside with me for today's action. And Craig, my goodness, are we set for a spectacle? We've got those looking to conquer history, those looking to go back to back, those looking to try and get their first ever taste of milk and brick.
It's one of the biggest challenges on the sim and one of the greatest challenges on sim racing. Are we going to see someone do the double-double again? What are we going to see today? We're going to have to find out after 200 laps.
We absolutely will, and there is so much to touch upon before we get into the start of racing running here today, because this is where we are on the calendar. Indy 500 Open, World 600 will be along next week, and then you've got 4 hours at Thruxton to round out a busy month of May. But Craig, what stands out to you with what remains on the calendar from what we've dealt with so far?
I'm a classics man. Got to be the Portimao 1000. That's fantastic. GT1s, GT2s, and the HPDs. Always a nice bit of fun to see the classic cars out. That's the one I'm circling around.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. I'm going to be a big fan of that Mountain Showdown coming up, but this is what they've dealt with. It's been 4 days of hard graft to book yourself into the top 33. Hourly qualifying sessions open to all. 4-lap averages to get yourself what you need. An unlimited attempt available, determined by qualifying time, then oval iRating. That's how they jump in today. It's time slot 3 today. We had time slot 1 last night to go and push that into position on prime time, and they'll know there is only 1 slot afterwards that comes along 9 a.m. on a Sunday. But as far as it goes today, Craig, what a car, what a beast of a machine.
The DW12 chassis now with the IR18 variant, the aero kit there we've been using for many years now. 700 horsepower, 2.2 litre twin turbo, over 230 miles an hour at top speed. And also, for the first time this year, it's hybrid. That has been a complete game changer and totally changed what you do in these cars. And you can also drive these cars on the iRacing INDYCAR Series. That is also a C license all year round.
Yeah, IIS will be heading to Indianapolis next week as well. So if you haven't had enough of your IndyCar fix, that is certainly something you can jump on into on iRacing. But let's talk 16th Street and Georgetown Road here in Speedway, Indiana, because this circuit that broke ground in 1909 is an absolute masterpiece. 5/8 of a mile on the straights. It's a quarter mile for each corner and an 1/8 of a mile on the short chutes with 9 degrees worth of banking. It's not much, but it's enough, Craig, to understand that every little detail is analysed to a finite degree.
You're going to get so much aero wash when you're following someone, but you have to remember turn 1 will be the fastest entry. Turn 3 is where you're going to be the slowest, and that's where you see a lot of the fireworks at the end of the race. You've done it yourself, Jay, round the outside for turn 3. What is magical you can get around there, so drivers will be using that to their advantage in the later stages of the race.
They absolutely will, and they'll be looking at today as one of these tracks that is absolutely fantastic, and the experience of running around here is going to be critical. On board right now with the car that will be he'll be out there and trying to push. This is Michele Costantini, number 16 out there. He is a driver who got the fastest time in pre-qualification, but critically as well, over 66 laps this year, took the Indianapolis round at the INDYCAR Thrustmaster iRacing Pro Series. So if there is anyone more qualified to go and say they've got what it takes to be fastest around here, Craig, I don't think you can look anywhere else except this guy right here.
Everyone's going to have their highlighters pointed towards this man. He's got the pedigree, not just here, but in other Pro Series as well. As you can just see, this is what they'll be expecting as they come around onto turn 1, the fastest corner here for turn 1. Keep it down low and then having to avoid massive flick there. That's what you have to be careful for. One spinner, just from a little bit of aero wash there, is really going to be an issue for these drivers out there today, because if they do get caught out in the short chute, that's going to be very dangerous.
It very much is, and we talk about how critical this race will be. It's 200 laps, it's 500 miles. You're always counting back to try and make sure you've got it. We're in open setup this time, so they can change whatever they want. Their custom team set that is there and is built to get them around as fast as possible is there. Best driver and best team will also help you get to the top. Pit window is around 30 to 33 as we expect this, but keep an eye on those single file restarts that put themselves into play. Craig, the key that we see so often is how you try and get things sorted on a pit window, and the differences between, 1 lap and 5 laps can be the difference between one setting out there on the dial.
And it also then comes down to that final stop, because some drivers will need to do a short stop at the end if it's going to go green for quite a while. So the more fuel you can, the more laps you can do on a stint, that's going to help you in the long run. You may also, though, have to work out where are you going to be in position, because draft packs will be crucial here. So you won't be seeing a lot of overtaking early doors unless somebody wants to take the lead.
And if they want to take the lead, they know they're going to have to wrestle it off of some very, very accomplished drivers. But there are going to be a lot to come through from what happened last week out here in Timeslot 3, because it only had one caution available to it, Craig, and that was the hit that caused it as they went through early. But critically, there were many moments, Rodan Eftink, that it could have gone into a complete disaster. 194 laps green, and critically towards the end, it was all about 2 drivers, Robert Malechka III and Jaden Munoz.
Yeah, that small pit issue as well took one of the drivers out, and it's just the minuscule of moments there that can just cause you another tap of the wheel. This didn't bring a caution out, but you can see they were pushing to the limit at the very end, and that was Edwards just having to also catch up to them. But at the end, as you were saying, it was a 2-car fight.
It was, and it was all about who could manage. And for the 3rd time, Robert Malechka III takes an iRacing Indy 500 victory here in terms of the pantheon of fixed and open. His 2nd ever fixed victory, the only driver to get 2 fixed wins, and now he ties himself all-time with Brandon Traino for victories out there in the iRacing Indy 500 on the traditional 6 p.m. time slot, 105 laps led. He also took Timeslot 1's victory, which had 1 caution out there, and critical to talk about moving into this one because Timeslot 1, Craig, as it was a case of holding off Munoz through the traffic over to the line for victory, it was all about no cautions in Timeslot 1. So that is some very rare air we sit on in today.
Yeah, really crazy because Rob didn't. It wasn't even near that battle at the end. He just could not keep up with the pace. Strategy not working and found himself not even around to get into the final. But it's all eyes on this now. The first time slot, that's important. But this is the big one now. You've had your warm-up. Well, now you've got even more warm-up right now. Can he do it? He will have a pretty early start at the front of the field, not at the very front, but it allows to help him.
And behind him right now on circuit, the Burasud Plus competition car of Jaden Munoz, who chased him relentlessly 1 week ago. You have got to love that they have found each other out there on practice. In terms of where he starts 4th, so Costantini in front of him, but critically also in front of him, Craig, the 2025 winner of the Indy 500, Philip Kraus.
You just always got to keep your eyes on Philip. In fact, you look at the winners here today, just a handful of winners in the series, and they're also just taking themselves ready. They know the drivers, they know each other when it comes to racing, but even at this stage of the game, they're trying to work out where they can go. Behind them, some other drivers that could be threatening, but I think really you just look at the top 5, I feel, is basically where you should be looking to see if anyone can win. We've even got Josh Chin, who will be there as well in the battle, a name that we haven't heard for a while when it comes to the victory lane.
No, we haven't seen Josh Chin in a very long time. He is your winner of the 2018 iRacing Indy 500. We also have here Christian Steele, winner of the 2022 iRacing Indy 500. So we've got a very star-studded cast here today looking to prove what they've got, and drivers as well who have been very close on numerous occasions but haven't quite been able to tip it over the line. And the 2 candidates I look have the 4 and the 5 on their numbers today, Craig, in Jason Brophy and Jacob Oster.
Yeah, the 2 power slide drivers, I do wonder what they're going to be able to do on this race. And that's the best thing, though. They've got 2 of them in the top split. They can work together if they need to. I know there's about 5 Team i5G drivers as well. It's a little bit of an invasion when it comes to them, but a lot of drivers here will be looking to find a buddy, or they'll just have to rely on their spotters. And I think for power slide, that's going to be helpful.
Power Slide have a lock at the front grid positions as we focus on here into the next stage with Adam Crane in the number 23 machine. And Crane will know how important a day like today is going to be, because many drivers sit and want to have the opportunities to go out there and race. He's had 5 starts in iRacing Indy 500s across all splits. His highest finish, he's only had 1 top 10, Craig, a 7th place. He'll be looking to make this one happen today and hope that he can jump up from around the mid-pack.
And I think really if it just goes green all the way, that might help some of these drivers just to be able to just get onto what they need, because what's important is finding your way to the top, and these were the winners so far in the time slots.
Yeah, Adam Blocker took it in time slot 1, and he is here to try and get his double in the books then, as he took it all the way. Drivers out there like Miguel Ignacio Ruiz in split 6, Vinicius Arlindo in split 10. Drivers like Emily Jones, she is amazing, a Porsche All-Star, taking a victory out there here at 16th Street and Georgetown Road. 32 splits going with the likes of Thomas Briggs, Paul Barryhill picking up options as well. In time slot 2, it was Wilson Neto who got the result that was wanted, the opportunity to kiss the bricks. Drivers like Michael Gray in 4th split doing a very good job. Daniel Morales as well picking up opportunities. Only 22, Mike Malone, lesser known Malone, out there in 21st as split, as Brant Johnson will be there in 22nd split picking up victory. But now is the chance to say we set ourselves ready, as we note that we will be looking through more than one split's worth of action here over the course of 500 miles of running. But your top 10 will be as follows. Michele Costantini will be on the front and will have the ability to run this one from position, as he will note here around Indianapolis Motor Speedway that Alexander Russell will be the driver directly alongside him. Philip Kraus will be going then from P number 3, as that will set up with Robert Malechka III in 4th position, and Jason Brophy making up your top 5 as they get themselves set. It's then Chad Simpson and Jacob Oster in 6th and 7th, as Hamilton Akabuezi will line this one up in 8th. Adam Blocker, who is a wonderful, wonderful driver, in 9th, and Jeff Drake rounding out your top 10.
Now we get to the next page. Christian Hilgard will be in 11th, with Pedro Palladino in 12th. Alexis Newsom will be 13th, and Josh Shin 14th. Then it's Jesper Dahlgren in 15th. Kevin Burrow will be 16th. Chris Von der Nessa 17th. Adam Crane will be 18th. Tamad Simon takes 19th, and James Munoz, we did see the BS Hybrid driver. He rounds out your top 20.
So, over to 21st, and these drivers are going to need a little bit of help today to run through the order. Daniel Ferguson at WSR Esports and Ty Killer 22nd. You've then got Brendan Lichtenberg and Lucas De Villa as we go on through and see the final 3, Zach Rinker, Carl Klendworth and Esteban Rodriguez. You've got Brendan Lichtenberg 23rd, Lucas De Villa and Lodato. Then Jose Soria, Christian Steele, Seb Alexander, Logan Edwards and Jack Busa up to 30 as they roll. Craig, critically though, you can't win this race in the first 5 laps.
Can't win it in the first 5 laps, but we saw last week when it came to the caution, that was the biggest deciding factor, and it happened where? In the first 5 laps. Can they keep it clean and then work their way forward? We saw it earlier today. Could it happen tonight?
Who knows what the fate of these drivers will have by the time they reach the end of 500 miles. It's been 110 times in the real world that they have had the ability to run this. It has been 16 times in open split format that they find themselves with an opportunity to prove they are the very best today. Winners of past and winners looking to be present. Who can say that they've got what it takes to go all the way and win here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway? There are a number of teams that have got a really strong opportunity that give them the best chance of success, but this is no team game. This is all about the individual. This is all about the end result. And can you go one click better than everybody else? Arguably the greatest driver to have never won the iRacing Indy 500 starts this one from pole position. Michele Costantini. He's got a star-studded second row behind him, and Alexander Russell looking for his first alongside. Pace car will dive in, and here at 16th and Georgetown, Indy Ignite, we're underway. Alexander Russell got the leapfrog he wanted, but Costantini takes it back at turn 1 to say he's happy. Still a lot of scrapping going about here for around 5th and 6th position. Jason Brophy watches behind Jacob Oster and Chad Simpson.
Yeah, I think that first few laps and first few quarters, just made a little bit of drivers just check up a little bit. Russell retakes the lead again. They're looking to slingshot and try to get ahead of Philip Kraft and Malechka. Further away they can get from those drivers, the better. But in the backfield, well, Jaden Munoz has already got up 3 places. Early good start for him, but look at them almost 3 wide coming down. It's only lap 2, boys.
Akabuezi took a tag out of 4 from Jeff Drake. That gave Christian Hildgaard a chance, the Dane, to go and make a pass. He ultimately lifts out of it, says, I'm not going to risk it this early, and they're still trying to find lane here behind. Jesper Dahlgren here, and Alexis Newsom, can she find a way up the order? Munoz trying to work through with Chris Fondenessa. They were second and third in the early stages of the fix when they were working through out in stages, but a lot having to be figured out at the moment. Russell back to the front and looking now at what's going to be coming along as they try and build a gap over Kraus and Malechka. Another transfer at the front as they now all try and sort out their placement.
I think it's just a couple drivers still out of position, and now they're just knowing that they have to start to work together a little bit, because otherwise those front two, despite it's only a small gap, it's a big enough gap, and they're going to do the slingshot again. They're going to keep on dancing. Russell retakes the lead as they go back into 3. They'll be happy with this. Gives them a little bit of fuel saving, gives them a little bit of working together, know where they are. Finally, everybody gets into line. Just one driver on its own. I think someone just tapped the wall.
You've got to be careful about that, though, because anything that will disrupt the suspension, will disrupt the aerodynamics, is going to be a death knell. Just ask what happened on the start of the race to Jason Brophy a week ago, how much he struggled in that regard. As it is Costantini who'll be happy, the Italian, with his placement out there in front. And knowing that you want the clean air, knowing how difficult of a factor, Craig, the dirty air has proven to be over the course of the fix. You see there, another traded pass back through at turn 3. You'll see a lot of that tandem. 3 and 1, the best places to get the passes. The toughest corners on the track, 2 and 4.
Well, let's see what happened with Drake and Akabuezi as well, because I think they did have a small coming together. There's now the change goes on. Let's just quick look at this at the start. And just look how close they are, but also just look at what they're having to work with here as they come through into, I believe this is turn 1. Small tap there and almost locking wheels. That could have been a big one. That was turn 4, sorry. That could have been a big one. That goes into 3 wide. But had he just lost control and gone into the wall, I think we might be seeing the safety car coming out.
We could have done, but ultimately it's great car control that keeps this one honest at this moment in time, and how tough the run is. Fondenessa, experience here that he's trying to find, running a little bit high behind Tamas Simon, trying to get out of the way, take maybe a higher line that can keep him punching through the air and defending against Ty Killer, who sits there behind. So every position is going to be important then as we set ourselves into play. Russell and Costantini here. There'll be another chance to see whether they're going to work this one again. They've got half a second over Philip Kraus, and again into 3. It's an easy pass right now. It's amazing who you get friends with early on, because you know that there's a certain cut-off point, Craig, where you say, you're not my friend, buddy.
Well, that's going to be happening in probably about 150 laps to go. Right now, they're just happy to work to everything they can. Lead changes continue on, Jake, and I think this is just going to be the norm. I don't think any of them has actually led a full lap.
No, and I think this has been a really strong battle out there. So let's hear the best of the cars as we go iRacing full throttle. Some incredible battles out there. Lexus Newsom tagging the wall out of 4. That's given Jaden Munoz the position, but your leading duo out there at the front. Here comes another soiree to the inside from Michele Costantini, who moves on forward. So Costantini will be up there in first position once again as they are trying to stretch this field out in the early process of this race. But Craig, I look right now, lap 12. It might seem early to start thinking about pit stops, but I'd take an eye as Russell comes back at turn 3. I'd take an eye at lap 20 as maybe a chance to get the gap out and try something alternative.
Well, apart from the leaders and Jaden Munoz, I've not seen anybody really making overtakes. Everyone's just staying in this line, using their advantage, just trying to see what they can do.
Trouble.
Wolf got into the room, and that's Dahlgren out. Just as you were talking about it, Jake, we get the caution.
We do not go cautionless in time slot 3, and ultimately for Jesper Dahlgren, that is a very tough issue at 4, and that looks to me like something has gone horribly, horribly wrong with the car, as if he's had a wheel disconnect or something of that ilk, because the wheel went in absolutely dead straight and did not move.
Oh, that would be heartache if that was some sort of failure. And that's just what you don't want. I reckon it's probably not even that. It could even just be a computer crash. It just looks so like that. No idea where he's going. Thankfully, he got into the wall. As we look at the replay right here, just watch this, Jake, because he'll come around the corner right now and he'll just go straight. Watch this, get to there, no problem. Comes to the short chute, all of a sudden, car doesn't want to turn. If it was a hardware failure, that would be going hard to the left. That looks to me other issues, but thankfully it goes to the wall, it keeps to the wall, and he rolls off the wall to bring out the caution. This is scary.
It is really scary. Take a look here on board, and this, look, it just nothing, absolutely nothing there on the rotation, and it's just a nightmare scenario to go and deal with as a driver, because you can get that on a street circuit, for example. You can get it at a place where you've got lots of runoff, and you can get away with it and stay in the race. Here at Indy, even if you breathe wrong, you're in these walls, and they remember everything.
Jake, I've done 2 Indy 500s on iRacing. I've met that wall too many times. In just 2 races, I've hit that wall. I know all about it.
Yeah, so it sets ourselves up. Jake Sperry, Craig King, bringing you all of the action here, and now a real chance to say, okay, what are we managing here and what can we do? This is going to be a scenario where they're setting themselves up and understanding fuel game. At 15 laps, I would say keep your eyes peeled for where everyone is going to set and where everyone will be looking at their Indy 500 and going first time to think, do I want to come in, do I want to get tyres, or do I want to stay out? It's a case of stick or twist, and everyone sticks as they go through, and ultimately everyone is going to jump in and get their service, including a late jump from Hamilton Akabuezi, who is dealing with a couple of issues there, diving down in. Only one will stay out and then keep himself with the lead. That is Kyle Klendworth.
Interesting. Usually at this stage of the race, if someone goes into the pits and the lead, everyone goes in with them. So I do wonder if Kyle is just trying to look to see if he can get a bit of an advantage, get some clear air running. He was at the back of the field. Just see the front for a bit, because when you've just got 30 cars in front of you, it's very tough to just see what you do. Out of the pit lane, Costantini does get that run. There is a quick run at the back, and I think Adam Blocker just got past his teammate. Oster just got caught napping there in the pits.
Someone else who got caught napping, Philip Kraus. He loses out to Malechka the third and to Jason Brophy. Those 3 contested for the win in a 3-wide drag race last year, and they are 4th, 5th, and 6th. Craig, could history repeat itself twice?
The question is if you've got the voice to do it twice, and I know you have to, and I think these drivers will have it as well. It's just being there at the end of the day. You have to be there just to be in a chance to win it. It's almost like just saying if you're there at a race, you got to make sure you're there. So got to keep your eyes open for those.
You absolutely do, as we will get a little bit of a look at what happened 1 year ago here at 16th Street and Georgetown Road. It was a race which absolutely felt towards the end of it that it got nervy and nervy and nervy. Philip Kraus had 65 laps led, but he didn't lead going on to the final lap. He was 3rd going on to that final lap, and a lot of drivers found themselves with trouble, broken wings and all.
broken wings and all, and these were the moves that was working because they were just trying to push to the very limit. 65 laps did Kraus lead, and that was very important to be there at the end, and this was it. And as you said, Jake, they had to go around the outside the long way, just couldn't make it. But even more drivers just getting caught up. You can just see that it was so much on a knife edge on the Open last year.
Oh, and then that an almighty save that proved to be there, and how elbows out did you need to be at one with the 2 wides, the 3 wides, almost 4 as they were pushing on the late laps. As you could see, one of the then Team Redline cars in trouble. The likes there of Jose Soria going up into the barriers, and then these 3 power slide cars fighting at it for the victory and getting all of their trays in at the final grounds for it. And it was one of those where you just had to sit back and say, what can you do? There was Palladino's race, a horrible heartbreak for him.
And then it was down left to some of the team hype drivers against the power slide. And then once that just happened, it was just all power slide. Team orders out of the window, and they just went straight for it. So much free wide. And that was the final ending. And just goes to show, like you said, you don't need to be in the lead to actually win on the final lap.
You absolutely don't. You always have an opportunity here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and you only just have to ask JR Hildebrand to understand you only have to get through the final corner and say, I've got to try and hold on to it. Of course, if you find yourself in the wall, it could be that your day is run on the final corner. Race will restart here on lap 17 with Kyle Klendworth in control, the only one to elect not to make a stop at that first round. Green flag back in the air, and we are underway once more here at Indianapolis. Lovely drives then coming out of 2 here, Craig, but critically comes the chance then behind, because a lot of side-by-side now. Akabuezi and Jeff Drake.
Yeah, Akabuezi tried to see what he can do. Get by Jeff Drake, and he's got Chad Simpson right behind him as well. I'm really curious what Klendworth's going to be able to do on those used tyres. They've only been doing 13 laps, but everyone's got fresh rubber on. He doesn't. He's going to have a bit of marbling on that tyre. Could be a little bit treacherous later into the stint, but at the moment it's keeping clean. But how long can he just hold off this beast that is Michele Constantini and Alexander Russell?
Well, both of them will know and understand that they have a long game to play, and Kyle Klendworth here is on a different strategy to them. Effectively is 1 stop behind if this one goes green between now and the end of this race. So they're not worrying about things too much. They're settling themselves in, knowing what the goal is going to be of this, working through 3 and over back towards turn number 4. We focus in the middle as we go on by. This is Josh Chin, who's made some good progress. He's +1 for the day behind Christian Hildgaard, who is -1, and Jaden Munoz, he is moving right now. He's +6.
+6, great start there for Jaden, and actually solidified those overtakes when he got a decent pit stop there. But Josh Chin not in the position he'd like to be in, but he's still around trying to see what he can do. I do wonder what hybrid they'll be using right now. I know some drivers, when it comes to hybrid in these stages of the race, don't like to just be aggressive on it to keep the speed up, because they know now they're in this long run, they're in a single file line. Why go attacking when you could just use this for fuel saving? That could be vital for some of these drivers, and I do wonder if they're going to do it. That's a very nice hat there, Jacob.
Oh, that is a lovely hat. That's a bucket hat that reminds me of Tiger Woods back in the US Amateur at Sawgrass.
You've got some very interesting memories there. Bucket hats aren't really my theme, but this is fantastic. And I wouldn't even want to, I don't know about you, I would like to play any sport with a hat on, let alone sim racing. I've just got headphones on, but he's got his in-ears, doing really well. And look, constantly talking, constantly going on what he needs to, telling that, he probably got it over his teammates, and, they're all in a line right now in front of him. Philip Kraus and Adam Blocker right in front of him. I wonder if they are just working together here, just talking about strategy, what they need to do, or it might even just be a spotter. We just don't know. We're just making hypotheticals.
Yeah, and Jacob Oster is a driver who's always got the ability to go out there and go for it. Jaden Munoz sees a car in front. I believe it was Akabuezi there who was trying to work his way very aggressively to go and get the pass. But we know that Jaden Munoz is making moves. We know that he didn't have it exactly how he wanted it to go and get everything the way that was required. But now he works the Oracle on the high line. Oh, he gets close to the wall there and puts a pass on former winner Josh Chin. That's the level of aggressiveness he's trying to go with early.
I thought he was actually going to try and, he's got a smile on his face after that. I thought he was looking for a clear air run there to make sure he had clear run, but he's found a line here that the other drivers have not looked at, and he almost taps the wall again through 1 and 2.
He's looking here to cut back underneath for Christian Hildgaard as there is the change for the lead. Michele Costantini then gets in front of Kyle Klendworth, who has been working very well and can try and sit in the toe. But it is all about this Bursa driver at this phase of the race, lap 22. Hildgaard also looking because they've got Chad Simpson here, who's down 5 off of the start of this race, and he's really having to work to keep himself in the line at the moment. And it's about how aggressive you want to be about it, because it's not just out there how are you managing the fuel, it's how you're managing the tyres as well. If you're aggressive early, you paid the piper later. It depends on how you use the in-car tools like anti-roll bar and weight jacker.
Yeah, you want to use that weight jacket to try and just lift up and give a little bit of balance over the line, and also then you've got your ARB to just help loosen the car up or make it tight, and that's the front and the rear. But on an open set, some drivers may detach that rear, so you just don't know what they're going for. Different people with different setups, but you just want to make those adjustments. I think that was another hit for the wall there. Yeah, Christian Hildgaard just tapped the wall coming out of 4 as well as another change for the lead. Klendworth doing really well on these used tyres. I know they're only 14 laps old, but I reckon in another 10 laps, he's going to be suffering.
Well, they're 24 laps old. They are the oldest set of tyres in the field right now. Then he will look at Michele Costantini, whose tyres are younger out there at this point, and he realises that he is going to be a very, very good driver out there to go and work with in these early stages. You find who's going to be there and who's working, and again, Alexander Russell away, and Rob Metz going to third, can't get there. Caution flag flies. It's Zach Rinker.
Rinker's gone around. I do wonder, did he do it on his own forte?
No.
He did not, though, unfortunately, and I think that was just the car getting a bit low. I think Esteban Rodriguez just caught a little bit of looseness there, got the car too much and just lost the aero. Did they actually come together? We'll see in a moment, but definitely something happened between those two.
It is one of those where Esteban Rodriguez will probably count his lucky stars that he's still in this race. He will do so at the expense of no nose cone out there, but critically, he will have to get the damage repaired for this, and he knows that as far as his day is written, it is not a mandatory repair with the iRacing black flag. So for him and his spotter, Connor Okrzyk, there, it's going to be a case of they've still got a chance, but they'll have a lot of repairs to go and do for it. Replay here on screen. Into 3, it's Rinker down low, who's trying to get the pass done on Rodriguez. He's down right up against the curb, understeers out, and Rodriguez does very well to save that off of the wall, but it comes at the expense of Zach Rinker, who gets turned.
Yeah, we'll go on board as well just to see it. It was a little bit of watching up there, and he held his line. Probably at the last moment saw the car. Look at the fighting he has to do. On almost full turn there, able to just hold it together. That's a lucky car there. Very fortunate, but how much damage is there in that car with all that nose cone completely ripped off?
And now it's questions on who comes in and who doesn't. Kevin Birrell is the first one towards the rear who's going to decide it's time for pit stops. Brendan Lichtenberg, Lucas Lodato, Christian Steele in there to make his second stop of the day. And this will be a shorter stop. It's there to just continue to get the offset out there, and playing the offset game sometimes is the way that you've got to do it, Craig.
Well, the offset is there as well for Kyle Klendworth. Remember, he didn't even come into the pits. So he's got really old tyres now. Some of these at the back, they'll be looking to just get some fuel, get some fresh tyres in as well. That's going to help them. But that also means now you look at it. Lap 25, you top up now. If you went green to the end, you're only going to have to deal with full pit stops now. You're not going to have to consider a splash and dash if you do the maths and able to save your fuel, that's very vital. But Kyle Clenworth not pitting, well, he's got a plan. I'm sure they've got a plan, but if you saw the rest of the field pitting at the same time, it would have put you about 21st.
Yeah, and so with that, you understand, well, what do you do with it? And in terms of how you're battling with and who you're battling with, just look at Michele Costantini and what he was able to do. Of course, when you take a win in the INDYCAR Thrustmaster iRacing Pro Series, it's a massive, massive result to get. Started from the front, led 15 laps to go and get that. It ultimately got him to second place in the championship, but critically, he did so over 66 laps and not 200, and that's the difference today. This is endurance. The race that he had here, this was sprint.
You can see as well, even in the sprint, he only led 15 laps as well. That was just in at the right point as the pit stops came in. They had to do a lot of green flag pit stops after just that safety car early on, but had to be there at the end and just set himself up there, because you could see, though it's a sprint race, everybody gets a little bit twitchy. They know that they can't play the long game. They have to be on it all the time. And there's the former red line, now Verstappen Racing, trying to avoid. And, well, hopefully we don't get to see that later today.
We certainly hope not, and this has been one where everyone's been trying to just give themselves as much of an angle as they can. They knew that this was going to have to be a race that would be won late. There is nerves, there's temper, there's anticipation out there, and the best of the best tried to throw it 3 wide coming to the white, almost 4 as they pushed. They wrecked in the back on a 3 wide drag race to the line. Enough there to say that Michele Costantini could take the victory at 16th and Georgetown and be very pleased about it. He will have the lead coming to this restart then, as they will look about with it. The lights are off on top of the iRacing sedan pace car out there at the moment. It is a safety vehicle. It says so on the banner. But what they will know is that they'll get back to racing here on lap 28 out of 200. And I would say a nervy start where they haven't had a full launch to go at it. But critically, it's a 1-car incident here, a 1-car incident there that's causing the trouble. So still a lot can be done to move on up. Costantini waits for the right time to launch. Clenworth got a little close on that launch back, and so Costantini pulls a car length and a half off the get-go.
Off the get-go he goes, and Kyle Clenworth trying to then hold up to the back and gets a good launch even after that mistake. Just trying to take a different line, trying to do that sling back down. Almost goes into the back there of Costantini. That's going to set everybody up. Russell is probably going to jump on this and take the lead if they go 3 wide.
Oh, Clenworth stuck on the outside. Russell sees the opportunistic moment to go into the race lead. A lovely pass to get that sorted out, but now they are going to set themselves into position and know what they have to do. Clenworth understands just how critical it is, because they'll go 2 wide again as RM3 3 wide again into 1. Clenworth trying to work the Oracle down the middle, gets a bucket of air as he works through, and on the radio saying, what is going on?
What is going on is he's trying to get himself back into the lead and using all that momentum. I wonder if he just put a little bit more hybrid boost there at the end, or that was all slipstream. I wonder if he's going to try and force this 3 wide again. He does not, as there is the legend. Well, I think we can call him a legend.
That's
now.
Brophy, isn't it? There he is.
RM3 going around.
Yeah, Robert Malechka the third. Currently there, ever stoic, ever calm, ever poised. He's out there chasing history, Craig, to be the first ever to get 4 at 6 o'clock in the traditional slot for Indy 500s out there. He is tied at the moment with Brendan Traino.
He would love it as well. Remember, he did the double in 2024 as well, the fixed and the open. He is trying to do that again. That would be unprecedented. It was the first time. Well, I don't know if unprecedented is the right word for the second time, but he's just holding the marks right now. But does he want to get ahead of Kyle Clenworth? Because you're starting to see, well, Russell and Costantini, they're starting to pull ahead quite a bit.
And I'd look around at Kyle Clenworth with 2 caution periods in this race. I think he'd be eyeing lap 36, 37 out there to get himself exactly what he wants. Anything short of that might be a little troublesome, as is troublesome for Daniel Ferguson, who lost quite a bit of ground actually going through 3 and 4. Just think he had a little bit of a slide out there, which has cost him a bit of time. Nothing too dramatic out there, but the field now knows that they have to be in the right place at the right time, and very different this has felt from what we saw in the fixed race earlier on 1 week ago, Craig, because they are holding a lot closer and they're being a lot more aggressive about it, trying to find the angles, find the lanes. Here's Jaden Munoz. This is to try and get to 11th by Chad Simpson.
Yeah, he's probably going to get the run here, but the sides against it. This has been a lot different race here. Trying to just take different lines, trying to make different moves as well, trying to see if they can do it. Jaden tried it around the outside, holds off Simpson there. That was beautiful. He held that outside line and he said, okay, Chad, try and do this. Try and take a shallower line through 1 and 2. It's not doable, Jake. It's not doable that early.
It's not, and this is what you turn around with and say, can you find someone that makes it work? Because a race set is a lot different to a qualifying set. On tag, in the back, hard into the wall. Josh Chin, a former champion. Caution comes out. Tamas Simone from Caesar Esports is caught up.
Oh, that was so unfortunate there as well. One of the former champions falls, and I think Chin just got a little bit unfortunate there. Was that a small tap? He was trying to do the outside around with, I think it was Palladino. We've already seen him get caught out there. He survives, but it was just the slightest of taps that took him out.
It is one of those issues out there that you just pray you don't get caught up in, and ultimately you do. When you go to the outside on any oval out there, Craig, it comes with risk.
It comes with risk, and especially with how tight people are driving to the wall to get that optimal entry into 1 and into 3. You're always going to have the drivers go there. As we saw already earlier in the race, earlier with a couple incidents before, drivers also do wash up close to the wall at the short shoot. Just so unfortunate.
Josh Chin on the radio, apologising to Tamas Simon, saying nothing I could do about it, just the hit that puts it into a little bit of perspective there. It's the biggest hit we've seen here today, and it's only those two who get caught up. I would say lower down the splits, you could have seen 10 get caught up in that incident, as we now have questions on whether you take it or not. I'll throw a dummy out there, says Alexander Russell. Guess who bites? Malechka, Kraus, Blocker, Drake, Akabuzi, and Munoz.
Clenworth, well, Clenworth's at that area now, isn't he? He's at that window. This would be the normal window for a first pit stop. I was thinking if we had a caution, maybe Clenworth would get it, but no, did not go for it.
I'm very surprised. I think he's understanding that this race is not maybe handing out the way you do. This is Josh Chin here trying to get around Pedro Palladino. Takes the outside line, does very well. Works on that high line, and look, he gets boxed into a place he doesn't want to. He goes down low, tries to get the run. Palladino's low. I think Josh Chin's pinched too much.
I would have to agree with you there. He was just trying to hold on as much as he could. But yeah, just watch this again. Look at Brendan Lichtenberg here. Brendan Hyperstar, as we know him, trying to avoid this and still trying to avoid as much as he can. But I am with you. I feel that Josh was going a bit too low there. I see what he was trying to do, but it just did not work for him.
It didn't, and it has hurt him, and it's cost him his race and his shot of kissing the bricks and drinking the milk out here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Very tough to go and deal with, but you saw there the likes of Brendan Lichtenberg avoid that. He's a wonderful content creator out there. He's so Indy-centric, but critically, he couldn't back up his Creator Series 500 crown. There are so many different ways to experience the Indy 500 on iRacing. You can experience INDYCAR on iRacing today by going to visit iRacing.com. New members get 30% off of a brand new membership. You can go to iRacing.com/membership for that. And Craig, 30% off a new membership, I would jump at the chance to get a deal like that.
That was the sort of deal I took to get into the sim, and here I am a few years later. It's a beautiful deal. If you want to give this a go, by all means, take that offer up. It's a fantastic deal. Understand why this is one of the premier sim races in the world.
So, how do you get yourself in up to this top level? It's one of those where you just got to make sure you got the right setup and the right pace. Most series out there, you build your iRating up and you get to that level. This is one very unique run out there, Craig. It's one that says we go fixed versus open, where you get the setup just locked in, or a setup where you've got to do it yourself. There is a way to jump in for anyone, and it's also a fact that you don't even have to qualify to go and race this, because there are some splits out there, Craig, where they haven't qualified and they've just wanted to say, let's go for it.
Yeah, they want to absolutely go for this as well. And if you have that open setup, you're able to just go really aggressive on some of these setups, try and make some changes to what you can do, and just hope that you can actually just get a little bit extra when it comes to aero.
Yeah, and how do you set yourself into play? Christian Steele's having a lot of fun on the radio at the moment, saying, oh, you should stay out because this is what you've got all this wonderful opportunity to do. Or if you pit, you've got a great chance of running up the order and saying, look, this is where I can go and get on into position. But if you are in position, if you are able to say, look, hold it out, it's been the same names at the front, but for the first time, we sit on split strategy here, and a true split strategy where half the field have and half the field haven't. Pace car comes in, lap 36 here of 200. Alexander Russell with an early jump and getaway, and Pedro Palladino is the biggest one who gets caught napping.
Yeah, Killer absolutely not happy on the radio with it either. He was ready to go, but the car in front said no, and they have lost the lead. Oh, well, they've lost the train completely as Russell continues on at the front. This is it. Killer really wants to get ahead now. He's not in the best of moves, and he has to try and catch up now. They are now banking on a safety car.
3 wide, and Lichtenberg gets the clearance. He works through, and at the front, Costantini gets the pass done on Alexander Russell. And the key to that is that Ty Killer could not pass on the left-hand side until he crossed the yard of bricks.
And that's something that you get to learn when you come to IndyCar. The overtaking on the inside, well, that's undertaking. That's not allowed, and that's what caught him out, and that's what catches a lot of drivers out in lower splits because they're not used to single-file restarts.
Kevin Birrell into the side of Pedro Palladino there, and that shuffles him out of line and down another place. So I think it's a day where nobody wants to vote Pedro out there. I think it's very clear at the moment, and the group behind would have wanted to try and push through. This is exactly the scenario you would have wanted if you're in that top 8, and the best of that, or the top 7, sorry, Christian Hildgaard will be happy. In comes Klendworth.
Yeah, and this is what we were talking about. He could have had the chance in the safety car. I know it would have put him back a bit, but I think that would have been good. Ty Killer as well comes into the pit. Now, I don't know why Ty. I didn't think he caught any damage there, but he must have had something because this is really weird to go into the pits right now, and that's just changed everything. He was pushing to try and catch up to Christian Hildgaard, but now it's going to have to be Brendan Lichtenberg, and meanwhile at the front, Constantini, Russell continue to switch, and now with that gap in behind them, they're able to just pull ahead more.
And the key to that is going to be how big the train is behind. If it's a train of 25 behind you, that's one thing. It's a train of, 5 behind them right now? 4? That's so much easier to get away because the draft from behind isn't as strong as if you've got more cars in the train building a stronger push through the air. So this is absolute prime breakaway conditions.
Yeah, you can see Brendan, he's almost half a second slower than what the lead pack's doing, and that's just because they have no push right now. They're really having to start to work together more, and I just can't see it right now. That is the importance of what happens if you have a small moment there, because these guys now, especially battling for 12th, Crane, Maletzka, well, Maletzka got caught in it. That's what we've not talked about. He's off the pack.
No, and this is the battle just behind Adam Blocker here. This is Jeff Drake and Jose Soria. Hamilton Akabuezi is there just behind it too and trying to work a way through to go and get this pass sorted. But ultimately, Drake taking a little bit of a wider line, looking to try and get that drive through. Adam Blocker, talk about history of a driver just in front of this group right now as they change for the race lead and Costantini goes back to the front. Adam Blocker, what does he do as his day job, Craig? Well, he works for Chip Ganassi out there. He's an engineer out there on the cans in Indy Next.
Yeah, I think they would. I think he'd love to be out here being an engineer for this because he's probably got a whole idea of what you could do out in the real world. And I bet he's putting it to use right now. And he's probably got an A, B, and C out there of what he's doing. And he's even doing it in VR. That's the first VR headset we've seen. Very nice to see it because it is iRacing. It's sim racing. It doesn't matter how you race, whatever you got, you still get to race it with the best of the best. And headset, triple, single, whatever. You can do whatever you want on that, and more power to Adam in that VR headset.
However you want to do it, however you need to do it, if it gives you that immersion feel and you think it's quickest, then by all means go ahead. He will look in front of him and see Jaden Munoz is scything at this moment by. He's just cleared Robert Malechka, the third in front, and he is already setting off down for the next train. Adam Crane, Jack Buser, Seb Alexander, it's Lichtenberg and Birrell at the front of this group right now.
Yeah, Birrell get past Lichtenberg as well. They're trying to look to see if they can work together on this. I do wonder if they're going to have to, but you can see Blocker, he's just sees up ahead, and he understands that he just realizes this train isn't as big as it used to be. He may just see a quick overtake there from Lichtenberg ahead of him, but all he's seeing right now is just hitting his marks. But again, we go back to it. That gap now between this pack and the lead pack is almost 3 seconds big. That is a concerning moment out there if you're in this pack.
It's called We Need Help, and it's not going quick enough even though that you're trading, because you're not trading as effectively at the moment as what the front group has done. They've traded right from the get-go. Their pace is up right from the get-go. It's making life so much tougher out there compared to everybody else. And so if you're not trading at the same level, look, there'll be another move to go to 3 as we go to Jack Buser at the moment. Started 30th, already up as high as 11th here. A gain of 19, biggest mover in the field. Someone like him would look at this and say, look, I'll take 11th at the moment, but give me something that gets me into that top 10.
I think he's happy enough where he is. He's made that time. Remember, he didn't pit in the last safety car. It was lap 25, the second safety car he pitted. So I wonder if that's a little bit of strategy there. About 4 or 5 drivers who pitted on the second safety car did not pit that last time. We still got about, what, 6 drivers, 7 drivers even, who did not pit after the first safety car. So he's already seeing the strategy right now. Jack Buser may be in a good position here to go as more drivers just looking. I'm just trying to see anybody else you can pin on now to see about strategy. It's too early days for that, though. We hit lap 44. If you're those leaders, you'll be looking at coming in very shortly.
Well, talk strategy. I taught Logan Edwards what he did in the fixed a week ago. He had to try and hold on. He just didn't have enough laps to make it happen. So if he can get himself right place, right time, I think Logan Edwards, who's in what is his first iRacing Indy 500 Open out there at this high level, Craig, I think he's someone to keep an eye out on.
I like the idea of keeping your eyes on Logan Edwards. I'm just keeping my eyes on that mid-pack as well. If you can just be there, that's fine. That's all you have to do. And we've seen how hectic it's been already. 3 safety cars. That does not guarantee another one, but you have to think about it. My money, though, if I'm looking at people to look at, I'm looking around where RM3 is. You've got drivers like Adam Crane. You've got Adam Blocker as well, Jeff Drake. They could make some moves at the end of this race.
Seb Alexander getting the pass done into 1 on Kevin Birrell, puts him up into 9th place. Now, I do want to talk the front because Costantini's starting to drop Alexander Russell now because he has found the group of Ty Killer and Carl Klendworth.
That's important as well because that's looking at fuel saving because he'll be able to just save a little bit more fuel. He's not having to go full power there, and here is the lap cars. They're going to be getting that blue flag. Ty Killer's going to get past Clemworth. These are the guys that had to pit later because they did not come in off the safety cars, but Ty Killer had a little bit of damage as well. Very shortly, Constantini will get by them, and this could be vital in terms of making a gap when it comes to this fuel strategy.
Yeah, but here's the downside of them trading and battling like they are. There is absolutely every incentive to stop Michele Costantini from going through. If they fall a lap down, there's no lucky dogs.
No, and they know that they have to just either do that, but if it's a safety car now, they'll be able to probably get a lap back, and Let's just see if he's going to see. Look, he's got eyes open. He's talking to someone. He's got eyes open. He keeps looking down. What he's looking at is his relative bar, I reckon. That's what he's looking down at. He sees how close, and what will he go? We've already got one pit stop on the green flag. Christian Hillgaard already into the pit, and he might be joining the back of this train.
Hildgaard will be looking at this, thinking, okay, how good am I going to be off the lane, and how much have I been able to pull forward? He looks across then and thinks, well, what do I need to do? Is Alexander Russell closing in? He's got that gap back down to 0.4 of a second, and I think we've seen here, the way they've been setting up the cars, I think these Dallara IR18s have been very good. That was high off the wall then from Ty Killer, and this is going to be one cleared, and the desperate one cleared by Michele Costantini, so he can get one down on the low side. Hildgaard's going to be appearing on the left-hand side. He'll definitely fall a lap down at the rate he's going, because he's got to get up to speed. Suddenly, Alexander Russell has to jump here and get the run, and he might have to squeeze his way through a very narrow gap to go and make it happen. 3 wide temporarily as Hildgaard rejoins the circuit.
I mean, there was a bit of a gap there to go 4 wide. Hildgaard, thankfully, just making sure he stays low, because he did not have to speed up there and getting by. But that's an important move there for Russell, because he realizes that now they come into the pits as well. Had to get that position, had to get that pace. And look how hard late on the brakes he is to slow that car down. He's neutralized that gap that just got created due to that lap traffic.
And so those who are out there, it's worth noting longer. Jason Brophy, Jacob Oster, Chad Simpson, they were all able to go longer. There's a 10-lap difference between them, as well as Pedro Palladino, to Lichtenberg, Alexander, Buser, and Crane and Birrell, and then Munoz, lap 33. So you're talking about difference makers out there. 3 strategies that are out there in play, Craig.
It's 3 strategies, and it's all different strategies. And if we get a safety car right now, those strategies just get thrown out the window once again, and that's the nature of the Indy 500. Just play a strategy, don't make an audible on the spot, and just hope for it as well. This is Lichtenberg. He's trying to play a little bit of spoiler, trying to get past Pedro Palladino. And remember, Pedro is the driver that got caught up and got caught napping on the restart. You could say that he was the reason that they're so far behind.
Yes, and so if he's the reason they're behind, which they are, it's the responsibility of Brendan here to try and get himself up and help his strategy out there. They're already 6 seconds down the road to Jason Brophy, who's managing to make this work. Oh, and Brophy thought about going out of 4 and had a second mind, a change of heart.
Yeah, and I think he was probably trying to see if he could make Oster or Simpson probably make him bait. Can you go? And then he realized, oh, you can keep going. Let's see what we can do. And I think Brophy might be calling he's coming in this time, though, and that could be very vital. And then you think about it, that allows the drivers that we were just looking at a chance. Here comes Jason Brophy. He was already talking about it. He'll just lean in, go to the corner. Is he going to set himself up here as he comes out of 3, down into 4? I do feel that he's looking for a pit stop very shortly. Will anybody go with him? Brophy comes into the pit. We just wait to see. Oster does not.
Chad Simpson does, though. He finds his marks, and Jason Brophy was really trying to turn those into 50 pence pieces as he was getting slow. Palladino also down in. Now, Kevin Birrell under pressure here into 1 as we got Lichtenberg here in 2nd, because the big movers right now are starting to get through. Robert Malechka gets the pass up now into 7th place with that. Now, expect 10 laps difference here. On board with Lichtenberg right now. He's in red here today as he looks to push for I5G and really work himself around. And some people have lucky colours, and red sometimes is always good out there. It's also a Warhammer thing. If you're in red, you're legally faster.
I was going to say, it's not a Sunday, and his name's not Tiger Woods, so red doesn't really help him in that respect. But I do wonder if that's the colour he wants. He has had some luck before. I wonder if that's just a lucky shirt that he's got. Hopefully he has washed it from the last time he used all that luck up. But now he needs to try and extend here as long as he can, because he knows we're off the strategy. We're off now. We were already a net 6 seconds behind to the whole pack. That whole pack in front of us, they've gone for the pits. We can go another 10 laps longer than these drivers. Here comes the strategy game. Is he able to just drag this out more? But he's got no help. Seb Alexander right behind him is not contending.
No, not at the moment. So this is just a case that Brendan is being left out to do the donkey work at the moment. Seb Alexander goes, oh boy, free fuel. I will have that down Gasoline Alley when I go and make my pit stop. So he'll be very pleased about that. Buser and Crane are a little bit too far back at the moment to really be saving anything out there. And they're side by side as well, back in the train as Akabuezi and also Jeff Drake swap their places then for 9th and 10th positions.
And remember, they pitted lap 33, and this is where we come with the 3 different strategy. They pitted on the last safety car. So does this mean that they're going to probably also go another 10 laps longer than the top 4 we were just looking at? And this is probably why you're seeing Jake just back off a little bit. Akabuezi definitely going to look for a move now, and Kevin Burrell gets that done. None of these drivers are teammates, though. You can start to see this is the fuel saving you're looking at, but also key note there, Jake, the tyre wear. I think now they're 20 laps into the stint, these drivers. That tyre is really going to be crying out now, and they're probably going to have to put a little bit of weight jacket down, maybe just a tweak of ARB, just to keep that car a little bit turny.
Well, lap 65 to 70, expect the main bolt to come in. Birrell is really struggling. Gets a good drive, though, as he works through 3. That will fend off Jeff Drake initially, and down on the bottom of 4, trying to get the drive. He's just a little too shallow for there enough to get the run. So Birrell survives for the moment, but he's not entirely safe heading to 1. They've got Jose Soria here, the Spaniard behind, looking to try and put himself in. Jose Soria, very dependable sim racer out there. He's always knocking on the door of these Indy 500s, but not quite close enough. Lichtenberg on the radio, that might be the sign he's coming in.
He did say he's pitting, and I wonder if this means the others are going to be looking. Remember, Lichtenberg has been a lot on his own at the moment, so we'll keep an eye on that. Soria doesn't need to worry so much. He sees Drake ahead, he sees Burrow ahead, and look at the different lines they're all taking in. Because if they just go a little bit wider, clean air into Lichtenberg, goes into the pit on his own. That's what, 2 drivers now in this green flag period we've seen pit on their own, and that's never nice. 1 is the loneliest number.
1 is the loneliest number, but for the moment, it is a case of those who find themselves with a partner will be certainly very, very helpful. Brophy and Oster together. You've got Russell and Costantini together, for example. That's what's giving them the opportunity to jump up the way they want to. Soria gets the run here on Kevin Birrell, who is dropping like a stone. He's obviously burnt through a lot in the early stages. Or maybe he's even fuel saving. He might be fuel saving.
I was just about to say that. I think he's fuel saving. I don't think this is the case of tire wear. I think this is the case of just trying to save the fuel, because he's one of the last drivers who pitted lap 25, yet to pit. Alex at the top 3, yet to pit from lap 25 in the safety car, and Kevin Burrow's the other one, and he's quite a way back from the rest of them. Really got caught napping on those restarts, and he's kind of out of position, what you'd expect from the last of the pitters.
Yeah, and position, I think, is very relative out there. We've still got 3 to come in. Here's one of them, Seb Alexander, who will give Jack Buser now his first ever lap led in an iRacing Indy 500. And it's always a great feeling out there when you see it right, your P1.
Your P1, you get that message from the spotter, and you feel fantastic. And then it's just about making sure you don't get a little bit too excited that your P1, that's the important moment, is making sure you stay on the track. And I do wonder now, if we've seen everybody else start pitting, is he going to come in very shortly with Adam Crane?
Yeah, that's going to be the next question. Who's going to jump? Who's going to make those calls and say, right, my time, my opportunity to go and get this service sorted and get myself back into position. Oh, that's almost in the wall from Adam Crane. My goodness, he had to hold on to that Bronco.
And then we see missing the pit box of Jack Buser. We saw it earlier today. We saw it last week, sorry. A missed pit box. That's a loss of a second at least. And that's not going to help when it comes to the lane and when it comes to the pits. And that puts you out of position. And if you're not with a group, well, you could almost be getting swallowed up. Think of it like a super speedway. You need a partner right here. The buddy system is the best system, Jake, unless you both fail.
Yes, so that's going to be the key. You want someone dependable to be with when you buddy system up out here at Indianapolis. If you don't have that, That's troublesome. Now let's put this into roll position as we'll take a little look at what happened here for Adam Crane and how hard he had to work to get onto pits. This is from the top-down view on the brakes, try and get it slowed up. My goodness, soaring away at the wheel like a carpenter.
I think he wanted to just try and hold on. I think the rear started locking and he thought, just go left. No, I got to go right. He just had to make those split-second decisions and real good heads up to understand what the car was doing and then what he needed to do. Did lose a bit of time, though, but you can see trying to be aggressive in pit entry to try and get the jump. If you can really catch up to someone, that is really great to see.
Where did this guy come from? Number 7, Philip Kraus, winner last year. He's slowly finding something, I think, mid to late. Started third, made his strategy, now trying to make his move to stay with Jaden Munoz.
Yeah, Munoz as well, still up 19. A lot of it had been moves he's had to make on his own, and Kraus has just been following. He's just been allowing Munoz to just go for this right now, working with him, just staying back enough that he gets the slipstream, but also not too much to get too much dirty air. And also, look who's behind them, Jake. It's a Robert Maletzka III.
He's not only there, he is looking at Adam Blocker as well, and that is going to be critical. We are in a few moments going to be looking around some of the various splits out here in iRacing because there's a lot more to go through. There is your red zone look at things in Timeslot 3 because we'll look at all the splits out there, and once they populate, we'll be able to tell you as they go through. At least 40 splits we're hearing right now of just how much amazing Indy 500s there are.
And this is the 14th split as well. We had over 950 drivers in this time slot as Nate Field trying to battle on it. I see a very familiar name there in the timing tower for people that will know him. Javier Sanchez as well, as we've got this battle for 10th and 11th. Caden Henry Oakes and Eric Macedo battling out here for that top 10. You can see the gaps are pretty close to one another. They're keeping it clean. And I do wonder if we hit lap 70 or start lap 70 shortly, wonder what strategy has been happening in this race overall for the drivers.
Well, they've been looking to set themselves up. They're actually ahead at the moment of what we are seeing in top split action, just has the way that this has all been setting itself apart. We've got Porsche All-Stars in here. We've got drivers from all sorts of nationalities out there at the moment. There is Javier Sanchez, Heike 360 ES out there on Twitch, and he is someone who loves racing anything and everything, Craig.
Oh, he absolutely loves it, and the passion he gets. He's been fantastic when it comes to cars like the Skip Barber Series, and he's just has this infectious ability. Even if you can't speak his language, or you can't speak Spanish, sorry, forgot what the language was, he is just infectious, and it's so great to see some of the driving he does.
It very much is, and so we're seeing some wonderful running out there. This is how they stack up at the moment here in split 14. Then for the moment, Nate Field, then currently the driver in control as it stands right now, and knows that his responsibility is keeping this race honest and earnest here at the moment, with the likes of Carl Schmidt and Cameron Stevens second and third, the likes of Jose Pizarro fourth, Javier Sanchez fifth, and Yuya Tomoda in fifth place, making it 4 different nationalities inside your top 10. 2 Brazilians, 1 Spaniard, 1 Japanese driver, and 6 Americans out there with EJ Luna in 10th. You have got the likes then of Emiliano Zuzuaragui in 12th position with Caden Henry Oakes, Tyler Beauchamp there in 13th. You look down the likes of Gregory Thompson, Vincent Rossetti here, and already they have had some big issues out there because you've got drivers multiple laps down like Anthony Neff, Ray Allen, Michael Taylor's been caught up, Michael Gudger, and then the likes of Marcos Gabriel, William Mallock, and Lucas Ott, the Austrian, who has been caught out in troubles out there. Pit stop still happening though here. The likes of Akabuzi, then in the pits. Logan Edwards has come in, Alexis Newsom, as well as, of course, Jaden Munoz, who has come in. Philip Kraus now leading at the front.
Yeah, yet to pit as well. Jeff Drake, the latest ones, and now you're getting the top 6. They're drivers that did take the pits on that last safety car. So now this is really starting to get into a full green flag run for some of these drivers. And now you get into that strategy game. You know that you're going to be behind. Some drivers now off the lead lap just because of the strategy. And I do wonder if this could be the deciding factor. We could go green to the rest of the race. You've made your bed. You're going to have to sleep in it.
You absolutely are, and so you've got to make sure that your day is going to be run the way that you need to. More will come in then as Kraus will be followed in by Milechka and Blocker, who will also make that jump. They're on the same call and the same strategy, and they'll be very, very happy with the way that this is all going at this point. And now it will cycle back to these two at the front for maybe 10 laps or so here, Craig, because Costantini will see Alexander Russell now here on lap 70 make the move at turn 1 as they play leapfrog to keep Jason Brophy behind. But Brophy and Oster, give them credit. They've got the gap at 1 second.
They've really been pushing hard on that, and they also pitted about 3 laps later, so they'll be able to just get a little bit later, maybe quicker on that very late run. But they're going to have to be careful not to overdrive and burn a lot more fuel than they would like to. But these two, well, they've been doing this dance for basically the whole race. Even though we've not been looking at it, when they came into the pits, they came out basically at the same time, and they've been doing this dance all the time. And well, they've been doing it even during the safety car. So I wonder if this is going to be the norm for the rest of the race. And they're the only two that really are working together and doing this slingshot trading of positions.
And those trades will be really important. What's also important, and we don't talk about often here, Craig, the spotter, the role of the spotter around here. Absolutely, invaluable out there. And we've got 6 drivers who have got a dedicated spotter in here. And one thing I know, we've got former winners out there, of course. We've got the likes of Josh Chin. We've got Christian Steele. Brendan Lichtenberg's spotter right now is 2017 winner Christopher Demerit.
Oh, do you want anybody else? You have to go for it. Here's Brophy, here's Oster as well. If you've got spotters, that's fantastic. These two don't. And I reckon for some of these drivers, because they've got teammates, they're probably looking to work with their teammates and just use them as spotters. I've been a spotter during someone's Indy 500 victory, and it's just so fantastic just to go for it. And you're calling out what's happening. You're calling out what the others are doing. You're also making sure you tell left and right. Just keep your eyes open. You're making the calls. You're helping them make the decisions. It's a very tough challenge. It's a skill within itself. And you can see why some of these drivers, they're either there to help or they're there to actually work as a pit crew.
Yeah, Jacob Oster there, changing something on the wheel as he worked on through. That looked like a setting change to me as he looked to try and get things sorted, because he's now behind the ball of Kyle Klendworth, who is the first lap down, trying to work back to the lead lap here as he tries to run on through. There is the trade that he's trying to catch to here of Costantini and Alexander Russell. Again, another change up then. Alexander Russell, look at him, he looks really agitated, does Alexander Russell at the moment. Costantini, by comparison, this is a Sunday drive.
Yeah, he's really focused. I do wonder if this is just, you know how we always say people make a face when they're concentrating? Yeah, I reckon that's what it is. You know, I don't know about you, Jake. When I'm concentrating, you've seen before, my tongue is sticking out. And I reckon that's his concentration phase, because he's really working in there. And if you're in the real world, you've got to make sure you take your breaths. Not really having to take breaths in a sim, but just look at that hyper focus he's got.
He's really set on what he needs to do, how much work he's got to do on this trading at the moment, and he's trying to buy himself then the end of this race and an opportunity to say it's 1 versus 1 between him and Michele at this moment in time. So he knows how important this is, and there's a lot of thinking that has to be done on the fly, because there is so much variance right now out there on the fly. That's the big difference maker.
And these are probably the first ones that had pitted. But both pitted lap 49. I think Christian Hilgard was on 47, but these guys will be coming in first unless they can really extend their strategy. But it feels like they're just going full throttle here. Not a lot of fuel saving, because every time they come around to either the front stretch or the back stretch, they're just making trades here. So this could help them as they're starting to pull ahead of the rest. But when it comes late game, what are they like for fuel? That's going to be interesting at the end of this race.
Very much will do. Alexander Russell, former NASCAR college driver. He represented the University of Wisconsin back in the day. So he is a very talented driver, and that is your reminder. May 24th, if you're heading down to Charlotte, Sim Racing Expo Showdown, the colleges will be duking it out, Craig.
I love that series. The college series, I think, is really good. It's just got a great variety of skill, great variety of driving that you don't usually see when you come to INDYCAR. You get the best of the best sometimes as well. It's just fantastic. The Sim Racing Expo, well, who else would like to go to a Sim Racing Expo? That's one of the hottest tickets right now when it comes to expos in the year.
It very much is, and it is the first time we've seen Sim Racing Expo in the United States as well. It's something that we normally see over in Dortmund in Germany. So that's a really good run out there as we set it up. But along the main straight, we note Jack Buser at the moment, and just around him with Jose Soria, Jeff Drake, the likes of Hamilton, Akabuezi and Adam Blocker. They're starting to find their packs. We also note that Hildgaard has come in for that stop, which means that it's imminent right now for Costantini and Russell and co.
He's in the pits for a while. I think he may have some damage there because I think this has not been a planned pit stop for him because he's been in there for a while, unless I don't know if he had a black flag or not. That's quite a while to hold on, but this is important for the leaders. They'll see that and they'll know that he pitted lap 47. They'll be trying to get some information, and I don't think they've got spotters, so they're just going to have to work on their own right now. Hey, what's happening? Because here's the strategy right now. I reckon this lot, they're probably on that normal saving, and the super saving is where you want to be in this race, especially now. We're on a full green flag run. In they come, and let's just wait to see who gets the better run on the brakes. Oh, brilliant from Russell there. Really late on the brakes, trailed it off, got right behind Costantini.
Yeah, that was a pretty perfect stop, and if you're going to want to beat them down the lane, you're going to have to get into your box first and try and get out of your box first, and that's probably the best way you could do so. Alexander Russell knows that, and he's going to be looking to play that game. Hildgaard, I think, is going to be a retirement then here from this race. It's a fresh set of Firestones that will go on. The fuel will jump itself in, and it now leaves Jason Brophy out there in control at the front of this race. No change between Costantini and Russell as they come off of the jacks and away. So now for Jason Brophy, it's about what can he do, and he's desperately trying to stay in the tow of the faster Kyle Klendworth here. Try and get any morsel of slipstream, anything that can help you save at this point, as we are nearing the halfway stage of the race.
Let's have a look at what happened here as well. I think we're going to get a quick replay. Look how close they just come onto this, having to be really aggressive when they come into the pit lane. And you have that heart in your mouth moment. Is he going to get it into it? Look how close he was. Some people would probably think he was probably speeding at the last moment, kept it clean. But that just goes to show how much commitment he had on the brakes.
Right, let's go and take a jump. We've seen what all this action is going on over at top split. Let's go one split below it. This is caution now here at second split, and Reska Kyoso, VTuber at the front at the moment that we've got out there. A wonderful creator. We've got drivers like Anna Klemic in here. Matt Hollybore has found himself into this one, is up near the top. Rodan Eftink, who we saw earlier on. There's been some troubles out there for the likes then of those who have been hoping to get through, but this is, you didn't make the dance, you now got to make it happen here in this second split and say, how much can I go and push?
Look at that wonderful livery as well from Reska. Got the Creator Series on the side, a Creator Series staple now for the last season. And I just love that yellow. It works with their whole, it's the champion, yeah. It works with their whole scheme as well. Yellow is their color. And what's not better than a nice yellow car around IndyCar?
Absolutely. Yellow is one of those bright, passionate colours that we see so often, and how critical. Anna Klemic there for Taylor Mills Racing. Fear the Deer out there, and it was made aware to us after the race out there. I wonder if it's the same for the Kiwi here. Raced around in a deer onesie last week, and hopefully he'll be doing the same thing again.
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen Anna on the camera just so we can get that photo, because that just really, think about the heat in that. Think of how much concentration you've got when you're driving, and then you want to go and drive around in a onesie. I would be sweating quite a lot. I would not want to see exactly how much sweat was getting dripped out of that, but I perspire quite a lot there, Jake. I don't know about you as they go green for this restart, and Reska's going to take them on.
Mark Murphy there in second, Matt Hollyball third, and Chaba Shikash in fourth position, looking to try and get the jump then through 1 and 2. What a lovely weight we're going to get for this, and the speed you're going to see. Bang, 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 bang. They all get by. There is a caution in split 1. We will note that and get back to that as we do. It's Daniel Ferguson who has gone behind, but down to the inside, Mark Murphy takes the lead here in second split.
And if it's just like the top split, Reska won't be too worried about that. Holleybar as well, right behind, just making sure that they stay together and start to pull ahead. And look at the gap. They're starting to excel right away on this as Reska is just continuing on and will not look for the move. Now, that's the difference what we've been seeing in the top split. Happy enough to stay behind, and I wonder if that's a fuel strategy.
Yeah, you will always look to try and save as much as you can, play the game, as it were, all the way to the end. Sophia Connell, unfortunately, is 7 laps down. That's a shame for her out there, the way that things have gone. But this is a very strong field out there as they look to battle as we go back to top split and see exactly how it all came about. In the middle of cycles for some out there who had come in and looked to take their service, but critically on that regard, a solo car incident, Craig, and it didn't even find a barrier, which is even more impressive.
Yeah, went under the line and just came up. It was Daniel Ferguson coming out of a corner, just losing the car a little bit there. The rear went. Here we go on that replay. Just watch it. It looks like, well, look at that twitch. That looks a lot of, almost like an arrow wash there for a moment, but there was no car around him, but just a very aggressive, and then try to get it back going. And I think that's what caused the caution, just lighting up the rears as he went around.
Right. It's time for pit stops here, and a lot will come in. Jeff Drake will not, neither will Alexander Russell and Michele Costantini, obviously, but it puts everybody back together again, and those who got put the wrong side of the jump now have a chance to say, look, we can now look and get everything back together, and the race is into position. It's the 4th caution of this race. We had 3 early. We got to get through, I would say, 1.8 green flag stops there, Craig, before they get out. I tell you what, it is a hive trying to get off of the lane right now with Crane and Blocker. Blocker actually got a tap from Pedro Palladino as he tried to merge back into line. So there is so much patience that's needed. We know Chad Simpson, Jeff Drake out there, who's done well. So you've got those who are trying to stay. So Drake, Russell, Costantini, and Brophy, the 4 that stay out. Everybody else is in. And then you've got those who are trying to get the cycle back to the lead lap. Simpson, Ferguson, Killer. Those 3 are trying to get back to that lead lap, and they will get the wave around the pace car because they are ahead of the leader.
But at the same time, for the likes of Ferguson and Killer, they're going to have to find a way to get a pit stop in. Well, wouldn't want to be getting a pit stop right away for them. That could be very tough. Jeff Drake decided not to pit. Last pitted lap 68. Had a little bit close to the bubble. Still got a little bit of 10 laps to go on that. And I do wonder if that's going to hurt him at the end of this race.
Well, you wonder out there at this point, and you wonder how hard they're going to have to race here to give themselves everything that they need and then some at this point. This is going to be one where this is truly being a very special event that we see each and every single time, and we note and understand how often we go to this level. We see the best of the best want to put themselves into play, and you can do so by heading to iRacing.com/special events. You can catch the 2026 schedule. You can find that one race that suits you, Craig.
Yeah, that one race that could suit you. It could be some sports cars. It could be oval racing. It could be open wheelers as well. You've got a nice variety here. Well, 600 will be next week as well. That's one that people love to drive. The longest race in the sim racing calendar. And you go to Adelaide as well with other issues. And then, of course, you look at that, the Chili Bowl. That's one people always forget. We've even got dirt racing there, as you saw the Crandon Showdown.
Yeah, and so that's going to be critical. There are 2 things to note. One of them is a drop for Alexis Newsom, so she'll be a lap down as we come back to running. The second one is who got caught on pit lane, wrong place, wrong time. Jacob Oster at the back of the field. The caution came out while he was in pit lane, and ultimately it's closed. Welcome to the back of the line.
Plus side, with the leaders, with everyone that's pitted. Bad side, you're all the way back now in 24th position. It's going to be a tough run right now, but remember, we just had, what, a 1.5 green flag running? So I do wonder if that's not a bad thing to go. There goes the green flag.
Yeah, they're going to get ready. Pace car then is going to dive in. Jeff Drake then will take us to the restart here on lap 87 here of 200. And Alexander Russell and Michele Costantini are the ones who are going to have to give the chase. The launch is absolutely fantastic. And critically, it's about how aggro you want to be on this launch, because they haven't had one of these in a while.
No, and I do wonder if this will mean Costantini and Russell look to this. Russell's the first one. Going to make that move on Jeff and say thank you very much. They're going to go 3 wide very shortly. And I think they'll just get out of that. They do indeed. Costantini can't get back into the line. I'm sorry, Russell can't get back into the line, but he does right away. They wanted to get past Drake fast. They did. Jason Brophy also getting past Drake.
Yeah, so now Brendan Lichtenberg's got to do the same. Seb Alexander fighting with Jaden Munoz. He looks like a threat. Jason Brophy. How many times is this guy, Craig, going to be the bridesmaid?
Let's hope not today. He's in such a good position, but he also knows he's losing out a little bit to those at the front. Doesn't need to worry too much early, and we talked about that. Look at him. He's just getting himself ready. He's hyping himself. Right, we're in the groove now. Let's just work with this, and that's all he's doing right now, trying to catch up. And it just starts to lean in a bit more, trying to go. I don't want to see another bridesmaid, Jake. No one likes to see a bridesmaid.
No, everyone wants to say it's your day picking up the flowers. Jaden Munoz here in the Burusud car. Seb Alexander thinks that was a bit close, and now Munoz is going to get a big move on. 3 wide, Lichtenberg in the middle. Pick your poison out there. Alexander working the high side of the banking there through 1. Gets the clearance then into 2. And they are realising that you're going to have to start thinking about making these moves. You're trying to position yourself between now and the end of this one.
And that's probably the most aggressive we've seen someone not called Jaden Munoz all race. Alexander really trying to make that move around the outside. He had that momentum. He wanted it. He's up 23 places so far this race, and he's really showing that he wants to be there. And he's put his car in a fantastic place right now. He's the first of the pitters on that safety car, and he's in prime position to really ring this field and just catch up to the rest of them.
It's happened in such a sense, though, that I think it has neutralised the strategy a bit. So Russell and Costantini, I think, are a lot similar than meets the eye out there. That's the reason why they haven't done. Bit of side-by-side back there as Jose Soria fights with Hamilton Akabuezi, as Lucas de Villa also wants to get himself into the party as well. First time we've really seen Lucas moving up, the Argentine, 24th to 15th.
Good moves as well from Lucas, and I do wonder if this is just because we're finally in that stage of the race where you have to start making your decision, because we're almost halfway at the race, so now everyone knows, like you said, what is it, one and a green, pit stops left to go to the end. They're going to have to try and just go for it, battling like this right now to get into the right position. They understand the importance of this restart, and some of these drivers are just starting to take it by the hand.
That was a late move over and across needed there by Lucas de Villa. Pedro Palladino was dropping like a stone for a moment and had to be very, very cautious about the way you go back into it. Hit a massive wall of air because everybody's playing the same line on the outside of the circuit, Craig, so nobody's going to be there helping you out get to the bottom. That's why you need overspeed to make overtakes.
And that's why you also need to make sure you're not in the dirty air when you try to do it through the corners. As you can see, the drivers trying to take the different lines. Well, they're all taking the same lines. They're not adapting on the fly. Not that you can adapt on the fly pretty much. I wonder if Akabusi's going to make the move right there. Oster's trying to tell someone to go a little bit higher. I think he's just having some issues in the background with some drivers, but this is crucial. Look at the different lines they're taking now. Soria trying to make sure it's clear air, working very well, but also following that same line that Adam Crane is taking in front of him.
I think that Jacob Oster was talking to Kevin Birrell. He said, you go high, I go higher. And Kevin Birrell turned around and said, well, that's fine with me. You go play that game. He's lost the place. And Oster is again looking to make moves. Now he's by Christian Steele in the background as the focus remains here on Akabuezi, Soria and Crane. We look a little bit further back. There is Jacob Oster. He's making good progress. Next up, Jack Gooser, the rookie.
Yeah, it's not nice to call someone a rookie in this race, but unfortunately, if it's your first time, you're going to get a very tough introduction. But Booster's done well. Up 13, Oster trying to work his way, put the pressure on, keep up with them, and make sure they just hold on to just whatever strategy they want. But you can see right behind, we've got somebody trying to go out of line there. That was Dallara trying to make an overtake. But again, we go back to what we said about 50 laps ago, Jake. No one at this field is making overtakes apart from the two leaders, Russell and Constantini.
No one's making consistent overtakes, and they are trying to break the second here for Jason Brophy. Take that slipstream away. Jeff Drake is a second back of that as well. That's what's making life really, really tough at the moment to get it sorted. Jacob Oster is making great progress. He now goes by i5G's Logan Edwards.
And that's another move done from Oster, trying to catch back up. Got Davila in front next up for them. A little bit of a who's who when they go through the field, but they know how important it is. Oster's not had the best of races and just trying to make some recovery drives out there. Down at 9 spots and looking to hold on far as you see more drivers in this field battling on. It's kept pretty quiet now, Jake. Apart from that front two pulling ahead, these drivers are now just setting themselves up. I wonder if they are knowing that they're in fuel-saving strategy right now to try and make that last pit stop a little bit extra.
And you're at the stage now, lap 95, we're soon going to be hitting 96 and over towards 100. The moment it ticks to laps to go, that's the difference. And Russell and Costantini very much in the game. Their offset was upwards of 7 to 20 laps on that last green flag run. It's now 5.
Yeah, it's 5, and you can fuel save that. I don't know with the way they're driving you can fuel save that, but it's definitely a strategy for them. They don't have to worry too much. That's been the neutralizer. Jeff Drake is the odd one out, though. We're lap 96. He last pitted lap 68. You look at it, he's about 5-6 to go before he has to come into the pit. Remember, they save fuel. He would have been on that fuel map, putting it into safety car mode, make sure he's not using a lot, so he's just trying to do that. And on the topic of fuel maps, I wonder if these drivers might be experimenting with that a little bit here, just to etch out any bit of extra fuel they can.
And you play with those maps at your peril. If you're going to be full bore, you're in fuel mix 1. You look around and say, I want to save. You go to mix 2, potentially even mix 3 if you want to. And it does cut the power a bit. And there's some that do throttle modulation out there, which makes life a little bit tougher for you. But you mostly see the main fuel mixes, and you go right back down to it when you're under a caution period. That's where you said put it to max fuel. It's not going to drive. It's not going to go anywhere. You need to go and save as much as you possibly can. Brophy currently in 3rd. We look a little bit further back, then working into the opening corner there with Philip Kraus, as there's your leaders, still keeping themselves steady. These two, I think, will be very happy here. One Italian, one Canadian, looking around at this going, hey, look, we're going to be doing this all day long. I think we're tied at the hip.
I think they've been doing this non-stop, and even then when we've not been looking, they've just been trading. And I think they're just happy about that as well, and I just absolutely love it.
Yeah, and there are very much going to be a case of plenty of splits here that are going to be giving themselves everything and then some out there, as we're going to go down to 20th split at this point in time. Get a little look at what's going on with Alexander Cortez in the lead at the moment. Cat Wheeler currently in 3rd position, having to deal with a battle. One car coming into the pits behind, and this is where you find all of the great battles go along absolutely everywhere, as they are trying to put as much focus as they can. Already they've lost over half the field.
I wonder if they've also been caught out. You look at it, they're on lap 86, probably a couple extra cautions to what we've had, and we've had 5. Michael Chin right there battling, but there is Cortez in that 23 car, starting to pull ahead a little bit here. Try to make that. I look at names as well. I look at names I am aware of. Andre Felipe Diaz in this field. Michael Chin as well, looking to stick his chin out and see what he can do. But you can just see this battle now, it's starting to change, and they're really starting to just expand this field a little bit, as now 3 wide with Diaz trying to make it through the middle, and Andre's going to try his best there, but just goes a bit too wide, and I think he may be losing 1 or more positions. They might even be 3 wide through the short chute.
Kobe Larson and Eduardo Royes there behind trying to get into play as well. Barry Wenman then is the one who gets the clearance. I think there's lap traffic also trying to work its way back through. It's never the easiest thing to deal with here. You've got so many things to think about as a driver. It's a case of you get overloaded with information at Indy, and it seems so difficult to think about that when it's just 4 left-handers, some would say.
I think it's about 8 left-handers, because you're thinking about your next lap as well as the lap you're currently on. As you can see, some of these drivers still wanting to be aggressive, trying to get on through as fast as they can. As Diaz, well, he's losing out a little bit, and that just goes to setup. It just feels like some of these drivers may have a little bit extra trim on them.
So Alexander Cortez in control, Corey Andon in second, and Cat Wheeler third. Michael Chin there in fourth. You look down, a lot of Brits here in split 20. Lewis Clark, John Tusting, and Barry Wenman all doing a very good job. And Andres Felipe Diaz, the Colombian there, rounding out your top 10. Only 17 on the lead lap. It goes down to Rob Young, Graham Walpole there in 16th position, with Matthew Bevington, Dennis Trump, Aaron Zizzo, and Daniel Bola. And here's some that haven't found a way to the result that they want. Jonathan Diggs is one of them. Fabio Gasparini, the one car out there, also running into troubles here. So very tough day at the office for many to look to try and get it done, going all the way down to Connor Masters then in the number 33 machine. So troubles then off the get-go in Paradise at 20th split. Jeff Drake pits then as we come back to action here in top 98 laps to go at the Brickyard.
And it's fair to say you've missed nothing at the front, because Russell Constantini continues to do that swap. But in comes Jeff Drake, getting that car done. And again, we thought maybe it would have been wise to go for the pit stop when everybody else was. Decided against it. This is a very different strategy and may end up being a lap down. Might be a bit unfortunate there. Wanted to take the risk, and sometimes you've got to play that risk. You've got to see, can you be that aggressive? Can you hope for a safety car that'll allow you to just stay out there? Did not work for Jeff, and I don't blame him. With the nature of this race today, it's been different to what we've seen the last few races. We've had a lot of cautions, and I think he was banking on another.
Yeah, maybe he was hoping that that would give him the position to say, I'm exactly where I want to be. Now, talking about drivers of where they want to be, Michele Costantini has never won in any time slot this iRacing Indy 500 Open. 9 starts, a best finish back in 2021 of 2nd place. Alexander Russell has never finished inside of the top 12 at an iRacing Indy 500. So he is in a very strong career best position, Craig.
I tell you what, you wouldn't think he hasn't been in that position before with just the way he's driving. He's driving with confidence. He's allowing Constantini to do what he's doing. And Russell, it does feel like this is not the caliber of a driver that you would think knows what to do in the lead. Well, you would think he is, but he's never been there before. Great driving, but we talk about it. We're over the halfway stage. Still a long way to go. Just because they're leading right now doesn't mean you'll be able to do that at the later stage of the race. But he set himself really nice here, and they're basically working together. We talked about it earlier. How long will they keep working together is the question.
Yeah, there's always going to be a time where the dynamic just breaks, and in any tandem, one driver is going to look around and think they're Shawn Michaels, the other ends up being Marty Jannetty. It's that much of a case of what can you find out there, and can you give yourself everything? But they've got a third party still back there. Jason Brophy is holding in really well.
Yeah, Brophy is just holding in. He's just on that bubble. Still got the slipstream, keeping up, but he's on his own. He's got nobody else just to help him there. And I do wonder if that's just going to be unfortunate. If he's got no help, it's going to be another lonely race for him.
Well, he doesn't want it to be lonely. He wants to get himself up there. He wants to challenge. He wants to scrap. But it's the gaps behind that I think are interesting here, because Seb Alexander is now almost 5 seconds off of the leading group here. And that hole that's been left by Jeff Drake is an absolute chasm.
Well, I was wondering if there's a meteorite that's just hit the track with how much of a gap there is, because that was the glue that was holding this together. And what's Seb and Jaden got to do right now? They're going to have to find the time, but they know they're also in this really extreme fuel-saving strategy that they need.
Oh, I've just seen Jacob Oster clip the wall, coming through 3 with the tail, and he is very lucky that he's kept the foot in and he's still there. That reminded me of Takuma Sato.
And that was always a nasty one. Here's Jason Brophy. I just wonder how many times has this man got to think that I'm there? He's the nearly man for a reason. You could say he has the bridesmaid trophy, the trophy nobody wants.
4 times over his career, he has finished inside of the top 5 in an iRacing Indy 500. We'll go back to 2024 and just showcase just what sort of a day certain drivers have. This was the key out there. He was second 2 years ago. He was third last year. And so he looks around at it. And Robert Malechka, the third, broke his heart, did the double. 2000s said all the difference.
Yeah, you can see as well some of the i5G drives going as well, all just trying to find their way through it. It was a very long race, and Malechka probably as well more issues with the pit lane, as you can see, but Malechka probably led less laps than he would have liked to have. But the crucial thing was at the end there, he was right in the right moment that he had to go through.
He very much was, and he knew how critical it was going to be as your leading duo have just come in for a stop, and that shows you the level of what you need to do to save machinery out there, and some very aggressive 3 wides back there off of the restart. And you just got to know, sometimes wrong place, wrong time, no way to avoid stuff. Look at that for an aileron roll.
That's a really big roll, and they went to green, and I think that was the final safety car, or one of them, and they just had to start being aggressive, and this could have been it as well. They went 3 wide to the line, and oh, how close it could be as they come into the final few corners. And just look at that, 3 wide. That just shows the commitment, and unfortunately, that's what was the aftermath.
Yeah. It sometimes doesn't stick. The margins get very, very dicey late on. Brophy got himself a great run, but Malechka just having the legs over to the line. It pulled out 3 wide on a form finish, and ultimately that was the difference maker on a 3 wide run. Malechka getting his double done, and he's looking to bring Power Slide Team Hype another opportunity for it. They're in the pits right now. Taking service is Jason Brophy. He'll be now getting the drive off and away, just 60 miles an hour here on the mark, which means Seb Alexander now has control of the field, but Costantini and Russell already pushing through 1. You'll see him on the right here as they go through 2.
Just watch them going through the right, and that allows them to just keep on going. And remember, they're still doing that same move. They're happy enough to just keep on battling, and right behind he will slip in, and you just see, well, that's good enough for me. You're right here. I'm right where I want to be. Maybe getting a little bit of an advantage there in the pit stops just to get where he wants, and that's very important for track position.
Track position is king around a circuit like this, and you know that you have got to try and give yourself any and every opportunity here to go and say, right, I can jump up, I can go and battle. 28 runners still out there at this point. Philip Kraus on the back of Jaden Munoz here at this point in time. Seb Alexander there at the moment, and Philip Kraus, he's been quiet here in this one. He's been, I would say, biding his time, and that is very Krausian in the way he goes about his business. He doesn't lead many from the front.
Well, there's an old famous saying that he waits, and I think that's what Kraus is doing right now. He's just waiting for that opportunity, and he knows that even if he's got the best seat in the cinema, and that's what he's got right now, he's just seeing everyone battle it out, he's going to be the first one to really get up there. So eyes on Philip Kraus at the end of this race with 88 to go. Could be a little bit of a dark horse out there, because that's a very good place to be right now. He is third at the moment, but when everyone comes in, he's hopefully looking for a top 5.
Yeah, that top 5, I think, is a bare minimum for his standard, and he's hoping that he can just play the leapfrog game, and it just gets chippy towards the end of this race. I think that's what he's looking at here, and there are strategies from many and any who want to go through. Chris Fondanessa, Chad Simpson have all looked at trying to get those stops all sorted as we go a little bit further back in the pack here and get a note on Kyle Klendworth here with Esteban Rodriguez. It's Klendworth who's trying to make some moves here, tries down low, doesn't quite get it. Seb Alexander now from the lead pits.
And remember, Glenwood was the driver that tried to stay out after the first couple pits, safety cars. It did not work for them. Able to get back on the lead lap, though, thankfully, but having to now work out where they want to be. Try to be the aggressor early, did not work. Try to do what Jeff Drake tried to do, just try and hope for more safety cars. Didn't work out, but still battling here alongside Esteban Rodriguez. Gets it done, but a lot of side-by-siders there, losing out on Kevin Burrow ahead of them. And I wonder if that's going to hurt them in the long run. They know what they're battling for right now, but they want the main prize, and they're kind of losing out at the moment.
And Kevin Birrell's been normally a saver, so to see him pushing, I think tells you a very interesting story. Lucas de Villa is now going to hit the lane out there as a change for the lead. Jaden Munoz loses out. Philip Kraus now moves to the front.
Yeah, and I think that is a strategy he wants, because I think this kind of says that either he's looking for a pit stop or he's probably thinking that Munoz is coming in for a pit stop. What does Jaden do this time? Nothing. They've not telegraphed anything. Usually the drivers tell others that they're going into the pit, so they don't try and bait them. However, in this sort of race, I wonder if that's going to be the case. It isn't this time. Should be coming close, though, when you think about those other leaders that came in early. Remember, they were a 5-lap offset. The longer they can run right now, the better. And more cars coming into the pit. Lichtenberg, Craig, Oster, all into the pits right now. And Kevin Burrell is decided to join them.
Yeah, Kevin Birrell makes the call. 84 to go on lap 116 is the right time for them on their strategy. So how are they playing this? Are they going longer? And you're counting back. 84 laps to go from here. You're looking after this stop, 1 stop, 2 stop, you're home and dry.
And a lot of these drivers actually pitted on lap 84 as well, so a very significant number. More drivers now coming in. Jaden Munoz comes in from P2, almost gets a speeding penalty. A lucky boy there. Others now coming in as well. Soria coming in as now comes that rotation. Oster as well will be diving into the pit, so that's the last man on the lead lap as well. That's a big time decision, but then still you've got 8 drivers at the front yet to pit, and the leaders, they continue on.
Yeah, so that's Jacob Oster losing the lap now to Philip Kraus, and he can ill afford to be caught on the wrong side again in a slightly different manner, so he'll have to get by PD and Q if he wants to try and get this sorted. There goes Philip Kraus, though. He'll dive into the lane, he'll take service, he'll be followed in by Adam Blocker.
Followed in by Adam Blocker. I did hear, I think someone was shouting, "Go Seb." I'm not entirely sure who said that, but a little bit of support. They're trying to work onto together, and everybody in now. Kraus, Blocker, Akabuizi, Edwards, Glenwood, Rodriguez, all in. Just 2 drivers at the front of the field yet to pit, and they're not even with each other. That's Maleska and that Palladino, and I wonder when they'll come into the pit. But for Pedro, not in the right position right now. 7 seconds behind RM3.
And a lot of cars in betwixt and between at this moment. So Robert Malechka, the third, will now be looking over to the left-hand side. He will depart, he'll hit the brakes, and he will know that he'll try and get his service sorted. Now, he'll be thinking about where he comes out, and it's these 2 that he'll be looking a little bit worried about, because they are working so well together. Costantini behind, Alexander Russell here, and Jason Brophy, who is still dangling now at 0.6 of a second. He's doing everything he can to keep himself in this group, and he is doing a wonderful job of allowing these 2 drivers to say, look, we have to keep working like this because Jason's keeping us honest.
And I'll tell you what, that was all because of that pit stop. Did a really good pit entry, got the good exit, managed to get a little bit of an advantage on that pit stop. Remember, pitted a lap later than the front 2. So he's basically on that same strategy, and he knows he has to follow that strategy. I just saw purple. Jacob Oster taking the fastest lap, and, well, now comes that tyre wear battle, because we're into that lap 10, and I wonder if that's actually going to play a bigger factor.
Yeah, so that's going to be critical here. So 28 laps on a stint, you'll be saying no draft out there. 30 to 33, you're in a normal window. You might have to go super saving if you want to make it work a little bit later on, so keep an eye out on that for anyone who will have to go a little bit too far in that regard out there. So for the moment, these two are looking around at this and thinking, right, Russell and Costantini, they're going to be looking to play the trade game, keeping Jason Brophy at bay. We often play the trade game at the moment here in these iRacing Indy 500 runs out there, because we do find ourselves from time to time, Craig, split hopping about, and I think it's been wonderful seeing all the amazing different splits of action.
You know, I just love that we get to show that for all the viewers, because it's not just these drivers. They are the fastest drivers in terms of qualifying, but it doesn't mean they're the only drivers. And just to see a different range of drivers out there, always love to see that, because it's just fantastic that everybody gets their show, because this is the show for everybody.
Let's go right down to 29th split out there at the moment, and already we've only got one car on the lead lap. It has been cannon fodder out there for everyone. Jimmy Spack has himself a lead over Patrick McManus and Alvaro Lara out there at this point, and you're looking down the names here. Sometimes Indy is a very, very cruel mistress, and you are seeing that in its entirety down in 29th split.
Yeah, when you see the number of people down those laps, it kind of pins yourself to the big one. And I do wonder what could have happened there. Maybe just an incident at the short shoot could have held that, could have been a restart incident, but that's so unfortunate. But for Jimmy Spatch, it doesn't matter where you are. If you win it, you still get to say you won it, no matter what the gap is. So just got 95 laps to go. That's going to be a stop and a splash, and should be able to just get themselves to the end as here comes the results.
Yeah, they don't ask you how, they ask you how many. And Jimmy Spatch here is going to be one who is looking at, well, I'm going to take a win for it. A lap over McManus and Lara. Clocker is 3 down. JB Parker at 5. Breshnahan at 6 laps down at the moment. And the two Frenchmen, Corentin Ray and Luc Dietz, there in 8th and 9th, with Luis Dominguez rounding out your top 10. A whole host of drivers in trouble, including Facundo Llorente, Mauro Tavares in trouble, Alexander Lukash finding a tough day, as well as Travis Moore. And you see the likes of Jeff McPherson there, another driver in trouble. All around 105 there. So Scherer, Brett Patrick there, Brendan Bridges and Steele Perkins there. 31 starters, not enough to make the 33 evenly. So we start taking one here, taking one there. 31 in that one, already down to just 1 on the lead lap. No such worries here. 27 on the lead lap in top split as we near to 75 laps to go out here in this race. And for the moment, it's a 3-horse race.
3-horse race out there. We looked at the 1 in 31. Now we're looking at the 2 in 33 as they're just continuing on, but you've got to give it to Brophy. Brophy, sorry, he is not actually yielding right now. Brilliant driving.
Let's go through these drivers. Alexander Russell right now started in second position, now finds himself in second once more, as high as first, as low as 26. It's been that sort of up and down day where he's been working hard with the driver who just passed him, Michele Costantini, arguably the greatest, Craig, to never win an iRacing Indy 500.
If you talk about greatest to never win, you've also got to look at Jason Brophy behind, because he is the bridesmaid. And can he not be the bridesmaid once again? It would be great if he can actually take a victory this time. He's put himself in a real good position for that.
He certainly has. They've got, of course, Robert Malechka III, who is making good progress here. He's looking to get the double-double done. And if he can do that, well, he'll be looking around and saying he might be an all-timer as far as this goes. The car that's just passed him, Philip Kraus, the winner last year, looking to try and repeat his honours right now by going back to back. He started in 3rd position. He now finds himself in 4th, and they'll look at a driver who started all the way back in 28th in 6th position right now as they get the swap around once again. Seb Alexander, what a day he's been having.
Great day for Seb, and he's played the strategy to perfection out there. And now he's just going to have to try and make it work. Is really working since that start, not working for another driver who's worked really well at the field. Not as much, though. Jaden Munoz, he's been really aggressive during the early green flag stops, making the best of the abilities he can, using that speed that he's used to. And he's just been pulling ahead of this man, Adam Blocker, in that VR headset. really having a day out there right now, currently in P8.
He won time slot 1 and he won it on a 200-lap green flag stint. So he'll be looking to do really well, as is clawing his way up. He was 24th on the restart. He's now up to 9th. Jacob Oster is the hot knife through butter. He is moving at this point in time. He's just put the pass on the car that started in 10th place all along, Jeff Drake, who is there at the moment and trying to prove what he can do out there, but he knows he's off cycle compared to everyone else here, Craig.
He's off cycle, but he's doing a good job to keep himself with the pack and hoping for just any sort of help for him. Currently sitting in P10, one of the only drivers to be where they started this race into 10th, and behind him as well, he has got some company. He's going to have to be a little bit worried that he might be a little bit under pressure as the tyres start to work.
Yeah, he's got a lot to deal with, and they know with 71 laps to go, the field sets itself into position. Crank up the noise. Let's go iRacing full throttle. It's a case now of how do you stack up stops. Jeff Drake has just come back in again, but the trading game continues on the floor as if this is Wall Street, but one of them is going to end up the wolf, and there will be 32 other sheep out there that they will try and devour over the course of this run. Little bit of side-by-side then as Jose Soria and Hamilton Akabuezi continue on their battle, this on for 12th place.
Yeah, they just continue that battle, and I think they also realise this might be the way to work. They're trying to catch up as well to the back of Adam Crane. So now just thinking, right, if we do this, get the overspeed, we got a chance here to just really work up. But nope, they've decided you can't make that move done. And Soria's going to defend that around the outside, through into 1 and then into 2. Holds it on. That's going to cost them time if they want to catch up to Adam Crane. They're losing a lot as well to the top 10, which is about 2 seconds ahead of them.
They're almost 15 seconds here off of the race lead, these two, and they know that hopes of glory are starting to fade away. They're going to need a bit of help, and they're going to need a bit of help very soon. Ty Killer down in the pit lane right now as your race is on for the lead and for 12th. Top and bottom as we go picture in picture looking at it. Costantini and Russell understanding that they are just keeping this one away for the moment, and that this is all par for the course. They're waiting for the point though where it doesn't and they stop.
Yeah, I think they're waiting for that moment as well, because if you've seen how Hamilton trying to make that move, on the bottom there, but every time he just gets down, he does not have that line, and I wonder if that's not just being aggressive, but trying to get the clear air, because now you see Soria go into that dirty air, just trying to disrupt him. That's all good battling, but you've also got to figure the long picture just rubs the wall there, and Akabisi is going to take that back, and can Soria catch up there? That's a lot of momentum just lost there, a lot of kinetic force.
Scrub speed, that will certainly not be held in the way that he wants to, and he's got to worry about if he's got anything more serious than that, as he has had that brush against the barriers. So he'll be looking at this, hoping that this holds his ground quite nicely, as Costantini and Russell leave turn number 4 behind, and now cross the yard of bricks once more. The nearest chase group is 7 seconds behind, and it's the duo of Philip Kraus and Robert Malechka III that they're having to deal with. A little bit further back, though, it's getting a little bit busy at the moment, because you've got the likes of Lodato and Glendworth there, and side by side in front of them as Killer tries to get by Lucas de Villa. But these positions in the middle, they are looking at this. How do we get a consistent finish out of this position? They are relying on hope out there, and sometimes they're going to be looking at this going, well, how do I get my extra place here, my extra place there? Who am I fighting with? What's my rival?
I think if they're going to look to try and work for this win, they're going to have to hope for a safety car. They have got a lot more fuel than the rest of the drivers with them, and I wonder if that's going to have to be the strategy. Look to see if you can work with someone at the end, and now with your rival will have to be your partner. You're going to have to start working with them, and if they don't work with them, they're going to start struggling, because you need more drivers in a pack to start to claw up to the rest of the pack. And more drivers is almost like lemmings. More lemmings gives you a better opportunity to get the victory and get your goal. I think they're just going to need to rely on that, because I don't see in this moment right now, if you're looking at Munoz, Blocker and Oster, I can't see a safety car coming anytime soon. Knock on wood, of course.
Well, hopefully we're not going to have that out there at this point, but one thing that you do know is that Adam Blocker is trying to do what he can here with Jaden Munoz. They got Jacob Oster that they're trying to drop away from range, and it's the fact that Seb Alexander is just in front that is keeping this one at even keel, and the lines are starting to be experimented. The track is going to rubber in a lot on the top side. You're going to have to be very cautious about what you do low side to go and gain that back. So you're getting all of this trading. Here comes RM3 to the inside of Philip Kraus, and these two, who between them have 4 Indy 500s out there, I believe, between them. It might even be 5 actually to that point. Yeah, it will be 5, because there is a fixed win as well for Philip Kraus back in 2021. As in comes Costantini and Alexander Russell with 61 laps to go. That argues to me they need to do a little bit of fuel saving. It would argue to me for Jason Brophy, he can push flat out for 2 stints.
Yeah, and I think the key thing will be now, he pitted a lap after those two. So what can he do when he comes into the pits this time? We'll have to see. Has he been able to extend it 1 extra lap? Well, he's been on his own apart from that fuel saving, so he's not been able to do that. Outcome the de facto leaders, and it's Constantini with a really good run. Look at that there, Jake. I know he was just in that bubble, but if I'm Brophy, he's got an extra lap than he was last time. He's in that end of that normal saving bracket, I feel. May just be dipping into the super saving when we're looking at those windows.
I think he'll be saying, look, I've got to stop. I'm probably looking at 60 laps to go. I've got this right on the docket. I've got to do a tiny bit of saving, but I've just been holding my cards to my chest. He will want an ability to go out there, be aggressive on the final stint and say, I want to wrestle this one away, and I want to run away with it. I don't think he wants to sit back there and play it cute and fancy, because I think the determination's just going to be there. You don't race 500 miles. You don't get 2 hours into this race, Craig, and say, oh, I'll settle.
No, you can't settle. That's why you got these two battling as well as Kraus and Maleska. They're starting to do the little 2-step there, and they're just switching over the positions. They realized the situation. They were 6 seconds behind Jason Brophy when he came into the pits. So you think about that, that's about 7 seconds to the leaders. They need to find some time, and I wonder if they're looking at this, because remember, they pitted about 8 laps later than the leaders, so they've got a lot of fuel left to burn here. They're looking at a very nice final two stops there, or final stop to get to the end. That could be less fuel. That could be the jump they need to find those 6 seconds.
Yeah, every second is going to count, and how quickly you can get yourself in uniform, I think, is the key here, because you've got to try and make sure the people around you are playing the same game. If they're not, then it's going to be just a nightmare to go and get your strategy sorted. Lucas de Villa now, Pedro Palladino, they're making their calls to come onto the lane here. Look for your marks. You go from what is asphalt to concrete on the box, and that's why you see so often drivers slide through their boxes. It's a property change.
And it's also a very small pit lane as well, so you're looking for that opportunity, you're looking for that place to get in, and then you're also having to just make sure you keep that speed. So that's a big-time factor. You see in the real world with the collisions, it's very tight out there to see drivers just find their boxes when it's a very, very moment. And I think there's been a few pit entries there as well for some of the drivers.
Yeah, keep an eye on them and how much you have to fight for it here, because this is how aggressive you can be. On the brakes, on the brakes, on the brakes. Hold. Oh, that was very aggressive. I believe that was Christian Steele there trying to get himself down on the marks and just about managed it there. So really tough action there to try and make sure that you're getting yourself together and taking all of that downforce that you've got, taking it all away and effectively doing a brake stop where you're just trying to make sure you hit from what is over 230 miles an hour down to 60. That is going from light speed to regular cruising.
And you can't just stomp on the brakes, because what's ABS? They need to just be able that they can just be nice and smooth with that throttle. And that's why you've seen some drivers be a little bit aggressive on the braking, because they're more confident. And you may be thinking about brake bias, well, you could do that, but they're not having to look at that, because they continue to just find their opportunity. Brophy, by the way, did lose a little bit of time to the leaders, just a couple tenths, nothing to be too worried, but they're still ahead of these three. Blocker, Munoz, Oster, really good working together now. I think they've decided, okay, we're three guys that really want to look to see where we can go right now as Oster dives into the pits. They haven't got that help right now. Blocker and Munoz, they're on their own for the moment. I think they decided that's the buddy system.
Yeah, they've got their friends. They're going to have to work together on this, and they're going to have to behave together on this, knowing that the differences are very profound at this point in the race. This is back-to-back long green flag runs that they can be very happy with, just ticking the laps away. If you're out there near the front of the field or at the front of the field, this is what you want. Just get the laps done. Just leave any ambiguity out of the way for it here as those two continue on and say, look, we're going to try and get as quick as we can. Adam Crane and Jose Soria now make their call. They're going to be full bore to the end of this race.
Yeah, that'd be helpful for them. I wonder if they're going to be able to, well, be a splash and dash. And then comes the question, if you've got a splash and dash, what about tires? Because you won't want to be taking too much in terms of tires, because you'll have to just accept that you'll be taking a few older lap tires. That could just put a little bit of pressure on those. You'll be looking at trying to make some ARB changes. The longer you get into the race, the lighter you go. Philip Kraus comes in without Maleska on his own once again. Unfortunately, it's not on his own for the final lap. He's still got 53 laps to go. As Maleska, well, he's just trying to extend as much as he can. And for these four drivers at the front, I feel that might be in their favor.
Yeah, so that's going to be critical out there as far as they go. I want to see what's going on a little bit further down the order here, because there's some guys who have done some really good work here. I like what Chris Fondanessa has been trying out there. He started in 17th. Unfortunately, he's down to 26th, but Maniti Racing, they're a newer team when it comes to the INDYCAR style of it, and Fondanessa is a wonderful driver out there who proves what he can do, fighting hard with Daniel Ferguson here at the moment from WSR Esports. These two teams, when it comes to the likes of the Tin Tops, the GTs, they're always at each other.
Yeah, and some of them just dipping their toes into this world of Indy. And they're doing really well. We know what Maniti Racing could do with prototypes, with sports cars, same with RXR. But it just now goes to show that if you've got that pedigree and you understand how to drive the cars, it's almost like riding a bicycle when you come to a new category like this. You know what you need to do. Just once you get those first pedals going and the first going rolling with Daniel Ferguson as well for WSR, you then get going, and always good to see. And I always feel this is almost like EU versus America, because Maniti very much Eurocentric and WSR not really American-centric, but it still feels a little bit of an American flair to them.
It does. They've got a number of great American drivers out there. Aiden Young, for example, comes to mind as one of them who has been there. Lucas Lodato in this field and the like, who has been proving what is necessary. But we are in the midst of stops because Akabuezi and Blocker are both down in the lane, which leaves only one, and that is Esteban Rodriguez here as the last one who will need to come in. There on screen is Robert Malechka III. He's back with Philip Kraus, and these two, they're going to have to harry if they want to get there. The issue is, harrying is not going to get the job done. They're still 7 seconds back.
But again, they've got, what, another 8 laps, sorry, advantage to those leaders. Here's Esteban Rodriguez coming into the pits. Not seen a lot of him today, but he's been able to try and run that line to the end. Nexus Esports driver out there comes into the pits. Real good drive, though. Trying to use that advantage, being the last one to pit, is always a good thing. Usually we say the first car to pit is the advantage. Right now, in this fuel-saving strategy right now, I feel if you're the last, you might have a bit of an advantage, but he's going to be falling down the aisle a little bit too much for his liking.
I think he also knows that he'll need a bit of help and something to come out right place, right time. If he can get that to work for him, I'm sure he'll be very, very happy about the way this will go. There's your movers up on the left-hand side on your timing tower. Seb Alexander, the biggest, plus 19. But issue there for Seb Alexander, biggest loser in that last round of stops. Munoz through, Blocker through, Oster through. That's going to hurt.
Yeah, and remember, those drivers pitting later as well. So having that advantage of pitting first did not help Seb. And I wonder if that is going to be a little bit of an issue. Probably looking at now cranking that fuel mix probably up to 2 or 3. I know it's just a change in the curve, but anything just to get a bit of fuel would really be helping Seb right now. But you've got to applaud the moves he's made to get up here, the strategy calls, to be in the top 10 from where he started, almost at the back of the field at one point of the race. It's just a real good drive here for the Swede.
Yeah, he'll be really happy with the way that he's done this here for SRN. He'll know as well that as he looks to try and make this work, that a top 10 for him will be huge in terms of where he sits with it. But he looks at Munoz, Oster, Blocker. These are the elite that he's now trying to punch with. And effectively, I think he now suddenly understands anyone can win with a lucky punch, Craig. But when you're up against heavyweights like these, you get found out pretty quickly if you don't have the ammo.
It really is a sink or swim moment. It is diving into the deep end if you don't know what to expect. And when you've got this caliber here, absolutely great to see, because you just need to learn sometimes. The hardest way of learning is to experience it.
Right, and speaking of experience, it's about getting up to that level, and these splits are going to be important. We'll go to third split right now, which sits very similar with us, as Jairo Maragato has control at the front of this field, and we'll know how much work is being done. You've got so much to try and battle through. You've got so many who are trying to prove that, hey, look, can we go and get there? There is your leader of Jairo, Isaac Smith, is the one directly challenging, with Chris Stouffer currently in third, and Hayato Matsuda, who's trying to do everything to keep this one as close as possible.
And I do wonder if those at the back, I think Stouffer's just in the range there of the train, as Matsuda as well, just trying to hold on. But you also look down the order, still other battles, and this is near the end of the race, and you can see got a lot of drivers still out there battling. I think we're only down to 19 cars there, but they're still all together. It's been a very tight race for them once they've had the moments, and looking at it, we can always just play a guessing game. Looks like it was just another incident out there, catching some of the drivers out. They've retired on, and these drivers have just continued for quite a while, it seems.
Yeah, I see at the bottom of that list, Jason Green. He's retired out from the fixed as well, so he's really not loved this time slot at all in the way that he has set himself about. But for the moment, they know that they're settling on in, and Jairo Maragato then from Indonesia doing a wonderful job. It's then Isaac Smith and Chris Stouffer, Hayato Matsuda and Matt Wagner there in 5th place. AJ Pritchett has Bryson Hicksenball there in 7th, Yannick Levens, Weston Yoshinobu and Joshua Grosso make up your top 10 in split 3 as far as things are setting themselves up. You've got the likes there of Steve Buchanan, Alex Fretwell there in 14th, Pim van Gestel, Yves Vanner there down in 26th, and struggling here because you're now into the retirement, which goes all the way down to Rob Love, Leon Flukiger, and Jason Green, making up how they have gone. Right, let's set ourselves up for the end. 44 laps to go at Indianapolis. Directly behind now is a change because Jason Brophy has been tired of playing second and third fiddle. Up to the point.
I tell you what, I don't know where he's come from, but he's just all of a sudden found the pace. Has he been doing a little bit of fuel saving? And I wonder if that's what's cost him to do this. Out of nowhere, he got past Russell, then had to run the same lap and decided, right, I'm going for this. I want the lead. You two have been doing this little dance for too long. And Russell started to fall off the pace a bit here. Now, is Russell just now realizing they might need to do some extra saving to give himself an advantage here? Because that looks to me like either there's been an issue or he's just decided it's now fuel saving time.
I think it's fuel saving time. I think there's an element of dirty air to it as well, which has put that factor in. Has got Alexis Newsom on the back, who is 2 laps down, so she's there just trying to desperately get something sorted out there. We're going to take a look here at the passes, and this was in consecutive straights where it was done. So here's how it goes. Into 3, here goes Brophy, bam, to the inside. There's 1, take the momentum. How about we try this one again? Get this one, same result twice. Comes out of 4, looks for the drive at 1, and takes a good look in the eyes of Michele Costantini and says, bam, I've got another I-lead.
Yeah, I think the key thing as well is look how much they had the clean air as well. Brophy using that clean air through 4 just to get that slingshot working to perfection. Didn't need to really force the car, no dirty air hitting him there. Just able to take that, and that was like taking candy from a baby, and that's just what he wants to see. Can he hold it now? Can the bridesmaid hold it?
Well, can he find his wedding day in ivory? At the moment, he will look around and see that he sees Michele Costantini, who has been close on many occasions. Alexander Russell on a career day out there today. 2 very important favourites waiting behind. Newsom's going to come into pit off the back of them, but also note how much Robert Malechka III and Philip Kraus are being allowed to push. That gap was 7 seconds coming out of the pits. It's now 3.3.
Took 3/10 off them last time by. I wouldn't be surprised if they take 3/10 on this time, and that's because, again, look at the fuel strategy, and it is 3/10. They've got almost 10 laps more fuel than the leaders. The leaders are now in panic mode, I feel. Well, not aggressive panic mode, but they're in that mode now where they have to think, right, we need to save. Brophy doesn't care about saving. He's happy enough to go where he is. He's on that limit right now, and you've got to feel that he's just where he wants to be.
He's not on the same limit, though. Remember, there's 7 laps difference between Brophy, Kraus and Malechka, and that difference is going to be the fact that he is doing a little bit. He's doing 40.5s, 40.6s at the moment, and these two who are using the draft and going all out to catch up, they're in the 40.3s at the moment. So I think Brophy does have to do some fuel save, is doing so, but critically is trying to keep this in a stage where if they do have to do the fuel saving, Kraus and Malechka are there.
And I do wonder if that's going to be big, because look at these two. They're just doing that same slingshotting that we've seen at the front of the field.
Look at the laps.
And now look at the top lap times here as well. This is the important bit, because the back of the top 3 are all just on aggressive right now. And even though that's only 2/10, that's a lot of 2/10 to be losing out on the time there. They have to be working. And Philip Kraus now, another 30.3. Malechka goes in as well. They're trying to equalize these times right now, Jake. It's still too much, though. They're slowly catching. We could have 5 cars battling for the lead here.
We very much could, and this is turning itself from a slow burn into something where strategy could be there. Are the group of Kraus and Malechka gonna have to fight for their 6th combined iRacing Indy 500 in the prime time slot? And will it be between those two? It's Brophy, Costantini and Russell. They don't have a single win in any slot between them, and they are gonna have to hold 2 absolutely world-class IndyCar wheelers.
Well, what can you do when you've got some of the best behind you? That's the question. But Jake, they're 3/10 faster, but I think the canary in the coal mine has just gone. Because Jeff Drake, remember, he pitted about 7 laps before Constantino and Russell. He's in the pit. He's been in a pack as well. So those two, they're starting to get worried because in about 7 laps, if they've not been doing enough saving, they're coming into the pits.
They're going to want to try and get 29 laps to go or less. That will give them the fuel to the fire. And now Costantini makes the push for the race lead and manages it. So he will now decide, look, I'm going to have to start trading here because we're going to have to work together. And it's a 0.1 from Philip Kraus now. Is he going to try and just drop Robert Malechka here and say, I'm all out for this. I'm going to try and bridge?
That would be a surprise. I think Malechka would get caught out if he actually saw Kraus do that. The gap is starting to grow a little bit, and I've also noticed that Brophy and Constantini, now they're doing that swapping as well. This is interesting because Malechka, I feel, he's fine. He's keeping this calm right now. He's not being that aggressive, despite Kraus is just absolutely going on it. There is Rob there. Look at it. He's not worried. He's just holding those lines, holding that moment, and he does look very calm out there, Jake. That's full focus.
It's full focus, but they're within a second now, and Philip Kraus will get the draft of Alexander Russell. This one is now setting itself up for a finish here, where I think it's these drivers 4th and 5th who are favourites, and those in front, I think now are maybe going to have to contend for 3rd if they're not too careful. They don't have to take as much fuel at the final stop, or if they even want to, they can come in at the same time as them and say, I'll beat you off the lane at the same time. So here's Michele Costantini there, just in the background there, making the pass, but Malechka there in the line. My goodness, if he can find a way to a double-double, this will be all-time out there in sim racing achievement.
Well, he's there. And he's been using Kraus to his advantage, and he's actually just been playing it safe. And this is all Malechka needs to do. He's not been the aggressor today. As you see again, Brophy, Constantini battling on as well. He's not been the aggressor. And I do want to now look at both of them. It's very Brophy, very intrigued right now. He is on talking. I don't know who he's talking to. I think he's with his teammate because last I checked, I don't think Brophy's got a spotter. He doesn't. So that is just someone that he's working with, probably one of the team, trying to look at it. Constantini on his own, full focus. He almost looks a little bit relaxed out there, if I say not.
Well, Michele here, he's been like this the entire time. This is just business as usual for a driver who I would like to characterise as an any given Saturday driver here, Craig. Any given Saturday, Costantini is the best driver in this field.
Yeah, but any given Saturday, anybody can win, and there goes even more concentration. We've seen that face before from Russell, really just trying to go, and that's the first time I've seen him look away from the screen. He's probably looking at something, looking at an opportunity here, but he knows as well if he looks behind, they've got a few more cars right behind them. Will they just keep it to 5? I don't think Oster and Block is catching them, but just look again, Brophy, full concentration. He's thinking about those pit stops, Jake. He knows he's going to have to come in very shortly for fuel.
Blocker and Oster are probably relying on a caution to give themselves a chance. They look around and see it's 5 who can go and get exactly what they need. Alexander Russell is dangling off the back here of Costantini and Jason Brophy, and I think he understands here at this position of the race. I know what Jason Brophy was feeling for 60 laps.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody wants to know how Jason Brophy will be feeling at the end of the race with the amount of second places he's had. Russell, given credit, really driving on this right now, but he's probably in the worst spot. They're going to have to pit. Him and Constantini, will have to pit soon. And remember, lap 140, you look at this strategy, another overtake going. They know they're going to have to do a splash after this. They cannot go to the end on this. None of these drivers can. And this is now a battle of how much fuel are you going to save.
There goes Michele. Right, so 30 laps to go. He'll have a 30-lap stint, and he will have to save some fuel out there as he pushes for it. So that is critical in terms of the way this race sets up. Michele has got to make 30 laps. Everyone else goes longer. Russell was able to save some fuel, and that is why he's now going to be in a position where he knows he doesn't have to worry as much now. He can be more aggressive on that final stint. Do the numbers add up?
I think they do. I think they do. Brophy knows as well. That's probably a little bit of breathing room. Russell's not too close to him, but now you're going to see who goes in. Brophy goes in early, and in comes Russell. That is a very short pit stop last time from Brophy. He must be about -3 for what he was the last time.
Well, he knows 29 laps is what he's got to do for this final stint. And if he is going to come out behind RM3 and Philip Kraus, he can maybe sit on the back of them when they have a slightly shorter pit stop to go and work with. This is now where you just set yourself up. Brophy is teammate to Kraus and Malechka the third. He's known this. He knows how important this is going to be between them, but it's two different ways to get to the same conclusion. Now, how do they go? Here coming off of the lane. Brophy wins the battle out there, and Esteban Rodriguez down the has Costantini down the inside. So Costantini's had traffic to work with. Jack Buser is there and around. I think Jason Brophy might come out here either ahead or side by side. Watch the merge. There's Michele second in the train. He's going to be just behind.
Perfect pit stop, and they also get the lap traffic. Well, not lap traffic, but the driver's still yet to pit. Just what they needed. That's going to help Costantini as well, because that just allows a little bit more fuel saving just on that back slipstream. That's perfect, and if he can put this car between him and Brophy, that's just even better for him. Brophy is no near closer, and remember, he's got the fresh tyres warming up. That car in front, that's Jack Buser, on those older tyres.
That's early for Philip Kraus. He's in now, and I think he's trying to make this as easy as he likes. Stay with the leaders who have already come in. Get what you can. He thought about trying to follow. He's even trying to slipstream down the lane with Christian Steele in front of him right now. He's trying to save any morsel of fuel he can for this final stop that he's now got to set up. It leaves RM3 isolated at the front. And what does he do with no slipstream? Does he have to cover off any moves out there, for example? There goes Kraus.
Yeah, all eyes on Robert Malechka now, because I do wonder if now, remember, he's on his own, racing with no one. Oster and Blocker have people they're working with, and I do wonder if this means that RM3 will have to go in. Oster and Blocker come in, and Munoz as well comes in as well. I wonder now what will happen to Adam Crane. We'll probably dive into the pits as well. I think he is. So now, Malechka, you're on your own. You're going to try and extend that as much as you can. That does give him the opportunity to put more fuel in to be more aggressive, but it also means less fuel to get to the end.
Jack Buser here is the cork in the bottle. Russell has been caught behind. Buser pit. And now Philip Kraus realises, I'm going to have to work with you to get up there. Look at that gap as they cross over the yard of bricks. They sit at an agonising 1.1. Inside won't work.
Inside won't work. Malechka comes into the pits as well, and this could be the battle that actually decides a lot there. What can Kraus do? Not a lot there. Brophy gets past Costantini. He's got the fuel, and I wonder if this means he wants to go for it. But where does Malechka go? Into the box he goes. This is the important one. If he can get close enough, if he can even leapfrog, I don't think he will, but if he can get close, this could be his to win.
Well, 25 laps to go. He gets himself off of the marks now and pushes. Costantini gets the clearance then through one. How close is it going to be? Well, they're going to go by him already. And now you start asking the question, where's he going to line up? Russell's there in third. He's trying to close him down and catch, and he will. And there goes through Philip Kraus. Malechka's on the back of this train all of a sudden, and everybody, I think, understands it now. This is the race, and this could be down to who dares attack at what time.
But Malechka just got held up from Jack Buser, who's a lap car, and he had to go around the outside of 3 on him. So I wonder if that's also going to be a hindrance. Still just in that slipstream, but he's going to have to work in. Out of all the cars in the top 5, he pitted quicker. He didn't have to have that whole fuel. In fact, he saved a second in the pit box just by having to take less fuel. So you could say he's in the prime position, but that second hasn't got him anywhere closer due to the traffic. He's having to work to get back to the front.
And here's the crazier thing out here, Craig. These drivers, first through fifth, all started this race. First through fifth.
But not in that order, because Jason Brophy started 5th and has leapfrogged everybody, and then everyone just moves down a position. So the top 5, the 5 fastest qualified this week, have absolutely just managed to show that they are the best drivers.
Esteban Rodriguez started at the tail of this field in 33rd. He is due for a stop, as is Kevin Birrell, but they will be looking at that in the next few laps. But it's still been a wonderful race from the pair of them. But here's the transfer once again into 3. There goes Jason Brophy to the point. I would look around at this, though. I wouldn't want to be in a position where I see that move into 3. I look at Alexander Russell biding his time, Kraus and Malechka just waiting, stalking on the back. I think you're just going to have to trade at the front. At some point, trade breaks. They're going to be aggressive. They're going to start looking at how much of a line can you attack. In comes Kevin Birrell.
I think we're going to be looking at that old adage in a bit of chess right now. Do you want to be the man that's leading into one of the corners? Well, the answer is we don't know. If you've got a strategy, work with it. I did see Malechka. He dropped into the 39s twice now. And on board with him, overtaking Kraus. He's really pushed on. He is the aggressor right now. And he is absolutely thinking he's in 4th. He's like number 4. And I feel he's on it right now because look at the time he's gaining. I want to see his this lap time by. Well, it's a 40 flat, but it's faster than anybody else at the front of this field.
How determined is Robert Malechka III to not only make history, but repeat what he did 2 years ago, winning fixed and open here in the money slot of Timeslot 3. He knows that this is history that he's chasing down. Alexander Russell trying to get down low. Contact there with Brophy. They all hold it together. Oh, that could have been the race there. A little wince then from Alexander Russell. Malechka takes control.
Malechka takes control, and they're almost just going to go for a move. Malechka is going to go into the middle. They're free wide, and Malechka will have to go around the outside of Constantini, and he knows all too well how to do this, but the wash is there. He just can't get it. They all checked up. Kraus just gets into this battle now because of it, but he just gets caught out as well. They're almost Noah Darking through too, but that could have been a very important moment, and no one's helping Malechka right now.
And if they keep fighting this hard, this is prime field for Adam Blocker and Jacob Oster at this moment, who are 6 seconds off the back of this group. They are hoping that they put everything on the table. You got your top 3 from last year. Michele, who won, of course, at Indy over in the iRacing Series, 3 wide again across the stripe. Robert Malechka III, power move to the race lead. Brophy second.
For the first time, Malechka is absolutely there, getting where he needs to be. Picture in picture, this was the moment. This was when Brophy got a little bit loose, tried to get it through. They were free wide. I wonder if that rear wheel, I think it did touch down Constantini's car. Very good avoidance there to hold on to it. But that caused all of Constantina right now. It's 5 cars racing. The rest of them behind, they're all lap cars. It's not a 6-car battle, but it could very soon if they get a little bit hot like that again.
If they get hot under the collar, it's Jack Buser and Kevin Birrell who are there behind, 2 by 2. Brophy goes through. Kraus then up into 3rd. They're in exactly the same position as they were, as Costantini's in 4th, as they were a year ago, coming to the white. But Costantini holds his ground at 2. He gets the move. RM3 now will work to try and play the tandem game.
Yeah, Constantini trying to catch up to them as well, and I wonder if they've got a little bit of deja vu out there. 18 to go. We've got to talk about it, Jake, because there has been 5 cautions today. That danger zone is going to be about 4 to go. They know what the moment will be, that a safety car would probably be the end, and they're going to have to try and avoid it right now. So what they're going to do is pray the rest of the field keeps it clean. Pray these cars keep it clean, because we almost had a caution there. And you start to see, now Malechka's in the lead. These times have started to drop a little bit. They're back into the mid-40s, and now he's controlling the pace of this whole field just the way he wants it.
Half a second now becomes the margin, and this is a case of can you keep that gap away? Every car in front is going to be huge. It's Esteban Rodriguez who's just made his stop. That's the next car then to chase down. Any piece of lap traffic is a latch for Robert Malechka III. The question will be how quickly he gets around it. Half a second still is the mark over the yard of bricks. On lap 185 they start.
he can get to that lap traffic, that could be a game changer, but he's still not close enough to it. You can just see them as you come through this corner. You just saw it just in the trail there, and there it is. That's the lap car. That's Esteban Rodriguez. Would love to catch up to the back there, and will just get in that slipstream. That's good for fuel. That's good for speed. That's good for the advantage. You'll be able to hold these half-a-second gaps that he's holding to the rest of the field.
Alexander Russell is starting to fall off the back at 6 or 7 tenths of a second. He's got to be very careful about that. Malechka, Brophy, Costantini, they're your top three. And then if you're talking about a game changer, the winner last year, Philip Kraus, he's been here the whole time.
He's been here the whole time, and everybody is here. Look at this. I think we now got to set up. It's 5 cars to the end. Russell just at the back, holding it on. The top 5 have stayed that way. Malechka still holding. Jason Brophy continues on. There's no game changers out here today, definitely, Jake. All there is just a race to the line.
Race on as well for 10th place, because you got Jeff Drake here fighting with Adam Crane, Brendan Lichtenberg, or Brendan Hyperstar, however you want to say it. They're just in front, and any one of these battles could throw a late spanner in the works if they don't play ball. There goes Kraus, looking for the move then to get back to third. Costantini tries to work the Oracle on the high side. He might have to try and cut back once again, but this is critical. Any one of these battles back there in the wall could make things really difficult, especially when you consider if you see a caution between 4 and 2 laps to go, write it in the book, it's done.
The last thing any driver wants is that to happen. We want to have that grandstand finish. We want to have that fantastic drive to the line, and so do they. They're in full focus mode right now. They understand the situation. If you had heart rate monitors on the drivers, I think they'd be looking pretty high right now, just trying to hold on. Malechka has held this, and Brophy doesn't want to go. Talk about that chess game again, Jake. I think that Brophy saying, do it. I'm going to wait till the last moment to make that move. He is not trying to be the aggressor.
No, but at exactly the same time, he was in this position a year ago, exactly this position a year ago. You couldn't have written the script again the same way twice, and here we are with it. Esteban Rodriguez right now is the difference maker here. Look at the concentration on the face of Jason Brophy. He's been to this dance too many times. He's been second to Robert Malechka, the third, before 2 years ago. Well, history poetically write itself again exactly the same way.
Well, if he's thinking about that, he's not showing it on his face, and I don't think he's showing it. I don't think he's even thinking about it. He's just holding these lines, and he's not even looking behind him. There is Costantini, and he's just been full focus all the time. He looks pretty calm for where he is right now, and he's in 4th place. He'd love to catch up. No frustration on that face. I wonder when he comes out of 4 if he'll start to be a little bit animated. Yeah, there he is. He's now starting to think. He'll look around there, straight to the relative, straight to look at everybody else. What can he do? What does he need to do? And he's also just looking around to see where the rest of the drivers are.
Look, they're doing 40.5. The quickest cars out there right now are Blocker, Oster, and Munoz. They are now within 5 seconds of this group. And so if it does become a case of they all sit back, they all wait now, and they all look to play games, you can invite more to the party. Blocker looking to try and get himself his first and third time slot victories out there, and say he can do it that way, getting his double. But for the moment, they're sat on Rodriguez, and this is all fuel safe, and I think this is posturing and grandstanding towards the end of this race. Malechka won't mind at the moment.
He's happy enough where he is right now. I think Block is happy enough to be where he is as well. And I just wonder if this, as you were saying, they're waiting for that moment. They've had the little bit of fireworks when everyone got back up to the front. Now they're just sorting their stalls out. And what stalls do you want? Well, you want to show that you've got the best stall out on the market. And I think Malechka and Brophy, I think they're in the best place right now to do this. Kraus is right behind, but I reckon it could just be another battle between those two that we've seen all too many times.
Well, Philip Kraus has got to be very choice about the way he makes this. He's got to make the moves clean, and he's got to make the moves quick if he decides to get by Jason Brophy. We're in the money laps now as we tick ourselves over. 192.9 to go. Kraus goes low, looking for it. Can't quite get the drive out of 1.
Gonna try and go high as well, but he just can't make it. Trying to do that slingshot, That's not helping whatsoever. Will he get the run on Brophy? He's going to look for it, but he also knows that's his teammate, so he doesn't want to be too aggressive. Side by side, they'll go into free, into the slowest corner, and he just can't make that run. The low side right now for Kraus is not working.
He got a bucket of dirty air the moment he pulled out of line. Look at the differences there. 0.7 for Malechka, a 0.3 from Adam Blocker and Jacob Oster. Are they trying to drag themselves into this one late as Costantini now sees defense and vulnerability out of the reigning champion who refuses to let go of his crown at the moment? We are talking big time moments out there. 2.9 is the difference over the line between Blocker and Russell. This could be a 7-car scrap at the end of this race if they're not careful.
You know what? I think they've cost it now. I think it could be a 7-car scrap. I just feel that those drivers who, remember, they pitted a couple laps later, they've just been able to just save their stuff, even save their tires. The amount of racing this top 5 have done in the last 20 laps has been extravagant right now. So I wonder if tire wear starting to be into play, but maybe it could be a little bit too late for Blocker. But we saw that moment earlier, Jake, 10 laps ago. We saw Brophy have a moment. All these cars checked up. That's all they need for Blocker to get back.
One move is all it takes, and they still look to hold themselves in the final stages. There's been some wonderful drives throughout this field, but at what point do they have the chance to pull the pin? There's looks for the high line from the likes of Alexander Russell. Philip Kraus trying to do something different here, poking out wide through 4 and looking to get a big old run here towards 1 once again. But it's about who's managed it, who's played this game perfectly. They close over the line. A quarter of a second between the top 3. Low again won't work here for Philip Kraus. Jason Brophy's covering this off. He says, the only opportunity I want is mine alone.
Well, teammates, I don't think they're teammates anymore right now. They're just going to have to play for this. There is a lap car in front as well. And I think that's Esteban Rodriguez once again who had to come in for a pit lane. High side again from Kraus. A little bit of overlap. Is that enough? That little call there, a car right. Probably enough for Brophy to make a small adjustment. It's not caused any issue. But how far away is he now from this lap car? The lap car last time caused a lot of issues. Was it going to do this time? And in fact, hello, Malechka licked it. He didn't go for it.
No, and this is the key. Money zone. The Dirty Air's going to make a big move. There was wall there for Philip Kraus out of 1. And it's Costantini who can't get down to the bottom to make it work. The gap opens up once again as they set themselves. Brophy's on the radio. He knows he's in the danger zone right now. He's got to try and find a way. He's got to try and find an opportunity. And he's talking with Malechka. Is there enough for us to go and fight for it between us? Can I go and get this? I think Malechka's gambling on the fact that traffic's going to make the difference. 1.5 seconds now, the gap for Adam Blocker. 4 to go.
Big lift from Malechka there into 1, and I wonder if it's the lap car. I did wonder if they were talking about the lap car. They know they're in the danger zone, as you're saying, and this would happen if they have a caution. That's it. That's done. Rodriguez goes to the bottom. He's going to pull off as well. He's getting right out the way. That helps these two. What about the rest of the field? I think he's just going to be careful. If he goes too slow, that would have been a caution.
Right, we're going to have a race for it here then. This is going to be critical here as they sit with nearly 3 laps to go. Robert, you're on your own. You're going to have to do this one on pure pace. You're going to have to find a way to break this one away. Serpentine starts to form itself up now, and it's game on as it was a year ago. But there are 2 wild cards this time on the back through 1.
Always keep your eyes out here because these drivers have been waiting, but I don't think they're close enough. I can't see the likes of Russell making a late move right now. Constantini, it could be too little too late. Kraus, probably the main man to look at it, but if his teammate's there, he probably will just play the wingman for Brophy with just 3.5 coming up 2 to go. I wonder, are they too far away or have they just been fuel saving? Malechka, lots of lifting on those last 2 laps. I wonder if that helped him.
The group in front, Ferguson, Steele, Palladino, Simpson. That's where they are at the moment, and they are trying to hope they don't catch them late. Jason Brophy really struggling with understeer there as he goes through. The gap now out to 0.5 seconds. Is his chance going up in smoke, Craig?
I just don't know. He's just losing out now. The tyres are screaming out. Malecka's got the draft as well. Brophy's only got his draft. That could be all she wrote. We could be looking at history, Jake. There's only 1 minute left before Malecka has his date with destiny.
Look at the grimace here of Jason Brophy. I think he understands this was meant to be my chance. He'd driven a wonderful race here. He's been to the well so many times. He knows on this final lap he needs a miracle to go and make this happen, because Steele, Palladino and Simpson, it's the toe of dreams right now on the final lap, and Robert Maleczka the third will know it. Costantini and Kraus have nothing for it. Exactly the same last lap as it was a year ago, but the difference is that there is going to be a big win to come along in this way. Robert Maleczka the third, double. He's going to go into the history books, the first ever to get 4 Indy 500. He is a record setter and a trail blazer.
Take the number 1, hang it in the rafters, never run it again here. Robert Maleczka makes history. Nobody has done the double before. He did it. And what happens next time? He goes for it as well. A little bit of friendly touching there, Brophy. What unfortunate. We talked about it, and oh, how hard it is to be the man in second, but he gets it done. Unfortunately, the bridesmaids, never the best, but the 4 runners here. What a race we were treated to by everybody in this top 5. And at the end of the day, that strategy call from Maleczka paid off to perfection.
A world-class run. They went over 100 green to get it sorted, and Maleczka, who had the fuel numbers to go and charge an attack for it, made his move to get to the front, and nobody could find a way to get back there. But again, these Power Slide Team Hype guys, 1, 2 and 3, the same 1, 2 and 3 as a year ago. They are going to line themselves up, full team order: Blocker, Russell, Kraus, Oster, Brophy. And they will look at Robert Maleczka the third. He will go and get his photo. He knows bricks, milk again, same old story.
Just gonna have to just kiss the ban at the bricks there, but we're on to split 4 as well. This is a very close finish as well. No, it isn't. It's a close finish for the rest of them. Jules Katana, what a gap he's got with 5 to go. He's in the danger zone in this split.
He is in the danger zone, and he knows he's in the danger zone as he wants to try and find a way. He's just got to tick 1 lap and say, look, I know then from this point onwards it's going to be all right. They're down to just 11 on the lead lap. It has been a tough race that they have sat with here in 4th split, and they know out there's been chance. Gabriel Erin Gummersdahl, Rafa Campos, you've got the likes there of Tyler Finley there, and João Guevara. They are all there, Gouveia, sorry, who are there, 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th, but ultimately I think they're just sitting and looking at this knowing that there is still a handful of laps to go. Let's not do anything silly as they play for minor places.
They're trying to get that top 5. I always joke top 5's the best place to be on iRacing, because you get your top 5 tracked as well. But that's all they're having a small little battle with right now. And you see Finley, Guevara, Campos, Guzmão, all there. They also know the situation. 1 incident now, it's game over. They're just trying to fight for the best of the rest. But that's got to be a fantastic strategy there from Cartana to really leap ahead. And you see a lot of incidents on the first lap there, down 199 laps. I do wonder if that's just the case of some drivers getting caught out. And we've had quite a lot of green flags running, because no one gets a gap this much unless it's green flag.
Exactly, and I think that's the key here, that they've built the margin, they've got the chance for it. Oh, there's a tag sliding about. Hold on to it, keep it green. No, back in the wall. Is that going to be enough to throw a yellow out there? No, it's not, but will they be too slow up on the high side for that to trigger? We stay green for the moment. Cartana's almost got this one sorted, working through. Tyre trying to detach at the earliest availability. How has that stayed green? My goodness.
If I knew how that stayed green, I'd be telling you right now that was a very big hit to the wall. Managed to keep it on the apron, on the tarmac, sorry. But that freewheel's on his wagon, and that wheel, well, that's leaving him just like his chances of winning the 500 has gone.
Wow. So it shows you that this is one where the finest margins are there. Rafa Campos now up to second, but Jules Cartana will know here in split 4 that there is one lap that awaits here at this point for car number 3. And this, it seems to be the big number out there today for many. Barney will await, and he will have the white flag there. Wave it as much as you like, buddy, because you know that Jules Cartana now, Caranta, sorry, has got to be in this position where he says, right, happy days are here on the horizon. We'll be looking around at this one here, so he will say, right, can I find everything I want and more, and know that I built this gap, I built my race, and nobody has even come close to my cushion. Sometimes they make their race really difficult for you. Here, this is what we call a sweet run through turn number 4. Jules Caranta is going to come to the line and will win at Indianapolis in split 4. My, will it be so sweet?
What a guy. He just continues on that gap as well. Fantastic. Tyler Finley having a moment out there at the end. Campos is going to come home into second. I think Finley might have been short on fuel there, or something's happened to him. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, and that, I will tell you, is where results now set themselves up. We're going to get this chance now to talk with your race winner. Well, back again, Rob. It's a case now for you of a really great race victory, but critically in terms of the way you had to set that up, you were middle of the pack for the longest time, and you had to play the strategy game right.
Yeah, firstly, thank you to Tommy Milner and Ty Silver. There are 2 big backers and the ones that allow us to do this every week, so thank you to them. But yeah, I mean, that race was a bit more chaotic than honestly we thought. We had 3-4 yellows that really mixed up strategy, and Alex and Michele, Jason were gone by 6-7 seconds, and honestly I was not sure if we could get there. So, but Phil and I have probably thousands of laps together, swapping at Indianapolis, and made it really work there. We were the fastest ones on track for I think 60-70 laps there, non-stop. So really, this win is really thank you to Phil, because without him, I don't think we get there, and we don't have the tire advantage, right? So the end there, it's just, I'm lucky that, I went along with the tires and had help with Esteban, and from there on out, it was just managing the gap, right? So got the draft lap cars, and once I got that, the win was pretty.
Let's talk about the lap cars out there and just how important that was, because as you were setting up towards the end of the race, you knew above anything else out there that draft was basically your buffer to stop all of that chopping and trading that we saw getting up to that point. By the time that it was cleared by Esteban Rodriguez, with a couple of laps to go, catching Daniel Ferguson's draft, was that for you the moment that you could finally relax in that race?
100%. You're right on the money with that. I mean, with Esteban, I really paced myself and just trying to keep Jason, Phil, and Michele behind. Just every corner we go through, that's tearing up the tires a bit more and giving me more of a delta. So, finally, Esteban let us by, and honestly, I did not want that. I had it covered with him out front, but over those last 20 laps, we were catching that back in front, and I think Christian Steele made a little bit of a mistake coming to 1 to go. And that gave me that extra little draft just to definitely lock in the win.
I want to talk a little bit of history with you here, Robert, because we're talking about 2024. You win fixed and open. You're here in 2026. You win fixed and open. The only driver to have ever done that, and you've now done that twice. And critically, you are the greatest iRacing IndyCar driver of all time now, with your 4th win, surpassing Brendan Traino. Has that weighed on your mind at all coming up to this week? Is that something that you've thought of? And how does it feel now to know that you are on uncharted territory at the top of the mountain?
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously a great accomplishment, but really open 500 is just all about the team. We put in many hours. I have to give a ton of credit to Jason Rose and Adam Blocker. We put in many hours, late night. I think we all racked up 50, maybe even 60 hours Indy 500. So, it's cool to, set a record. And honestly, it's pretty cool that I think all 4 of my 500 wins were different scenarios where this is kind of the one where it wasn't super packy, but it was really a strategy game with kind of managing the gap behind. So yeah, I mean, obviously Trano's one of the greats. He's the one that set the bar so high, and I'm lucky enough to be in the same realm as.
Well, honestly, go celebrate, get your milk, kiss the bricks, everything you want. Robert Malechka III now becomes a piece of absolute history with his 4th iRacing Indy 500 crown, and what a wonderful result that was. We're going to go to 23rd split with 5 to go as Jason Brophy is here. Craig King stood by with him for a couple moments.
Just waiting for Jason Brophy as we go and look at 23rd split.
Yep.
We're going to see this with Matthew Miles, 5 seconds in the lead here with 5 to go. Hugo Ferrer right behind, trying to just catch up as well. I think this was another game where it was just all fuel strategy. Drivers just getting caught out here. You see this? Only 4 drivers on the lead lap right now, and there is Matthew Miles, the American, driving the number 3. It's not the same oval as that number 3, but it's still there, trying to take this to victory lane. And with Ferrer in the pits at the end there, and is he on fuel? This is actually interesting because we don't know what the fuel strategy is.
We don't, so I think Hugo Ferrer is going to be pretty much written, done and dusted. Matthew Miles, have you counted your miles, is now going to be the question, because 12 seconds back is Josep de la Fuente Rafa, who is there trying to put this one together. Tyler Vitainen is there in 3rd position and really trying to prove that this is going to be one really strong run between now and the end of this. 3 laps to go, just trying to count it all off, one at a time, just get there, lap after lap, corner after corner. This is where I think the arms get heavy, the legs just wobble about, and here in even 23rd split, you know you've got that shot of victory.
And I think that's actually fair, not with fuel, but it looks like he's had a moment as well. Probably got a meatball flag at the end. Heartache there at that moment. He was running for a top 2, top 3 even, but just running out. 2 to go from Miles, and right behind you see Rafat there will be promoted to 2nd. Vietnam will be in 3rd. That's a great achievement to get a top 3. A victory is fantastic, but to say you survived, another thing. To say you got a top 3 in this, well, we know that the Americans, you only just see victory lane, but the top 3 still get the plaudits, and if you finish 3rd, that's still an achievement, and he's just found the lucky ticket because he's just lucked into it.
Well, he knows there in that bright orange number 3. It's another car with the number 3 on it here who has managed to find an opportunity. 3 is the magic number today, and that we have certainly found at this point, because he will come around and he will look to take the white flag out there at this point with a gap of 14 seconds here at this point. Matthew Miles putting the hard yards in here at the Brickyard, and knowing here that Josep de la Fuente Rafa hasn't got anything. It's been a slew of drivers in trouble, the likes of Austin Merton there. You can look down, you've got Trevor Dunn who's found troubles. So too has Corbett Raker found himself with a really tough day on the boards, to say this has been a really difficult run in split 23, but critically making the progress now through turn 4, and knowing there is no worry between now and the end. Matthew Miles is going to come to the line and win the Indy 500 here on iRacing for split 23, and will be hugely proud of his effort.
Hugely proud, always got to celebrate. It doesn't matter, remember, it doesn't matter what the split is. You're a victor, you have earned it. You can have that little certificate and you can be happy with it. But, well, we'll go into 10th split at the same time. This has got 27 to go as Jerome Ruiz and Benjamin Coombs just trying to hold off there, plowing along behind. Tyler Stafford right is there as well, as this has turned into a 6-car battle, but into the fuel strategy, because that's how far they are into this race and almost coming into one another. That means Hoyer will take the lead.
Yeah, and that is going to be absolutely critical as they go. Jason Brophy is here with Craig King.
Jason, it's heartache there, another P2. It looked for a stage there that coming out of that final pit stop, you had the advantage there. You really took the lead, but it just fell out to the end for you. Yes, do we have a copy there with Jason. We just get a quick thing there for Jason. But yeah, we're just going to see this. Now they come into the pits as well. Everyone just diving into the pits. Very interesting battle here, because that's going to be a short pit stop for these drivers when they get around to this. When they get around to this situation, 26 ago, short fuel stops. You look at the likes of Soto as well, probably getting into this. Ruiz as well, Tim Garvey. You come into this split, you see that it's 27 to go. I do wonder if that just means that these drivers are probably the first to pit, and that's usually the best time.
Yeah, so that's going to be critical as they set themselves up. We've now got Jason Brophy here, along with Craig King.
Yeah, we'll try again, Jason. It was an unfortunate P2 there for you at one stage after the pit stop at the end there. Looked like you were in prime control there, but it just fell at the end to it. What was happening there? Was it fuel?
No, tires, right? If you can get light fuel like Rob did, just that extra few gallons lighter on the tires starting off the run, you're just in a way better position. I had to fill full on that last stop because of what I had to stop. So, you know, it was great to be out front. We can swap pretty good, but Rob was able to get there, and then I just didn't have the tire left by the time he got through to truly make a move. You know, if Esteban trying to stay in front, no problem with him, but if he'd have gotten out of the way a little earlier, I think one-on-one I could have done it. But third car in line was really rough, and it was really hard to move forward, especially for me today. And so I couldn't quite get there. And then once he got out of the way, Rob caught draft, and that was kind of it. So, you know, tough, but it was the position I was in with the strategy I was in. So I feel like I executed that really well.
Yeah, lots of different strategies out there. We had 5 safety cars early doors, and at one stage it looked like we could be able to go green flag for quite a while once they had the caution at lap 33. Were you expecting to have a caution fest today? Not as much as they say, but the first half of the race being so stop and start with the caution, because it looked like that changed a lot of strategies out there for some drivers.
Yeah, it definitely did. This race has been really clean. I mean, even last night's split went caution free the whole race, so it's been a really clean race. You know, the cautions early with the fuel numbers and playing with that matter a lot. I lucked out, I say I lucked out, but I pit. Caution came out at the moment. You know, I came out of the pit, so that was perfect for my strategy and kind of put everybody on the same foot. And just this car was so good for us that we could execute multiple strategies. The power slide team hype team, we put together a lot of work to make this race set really well. I want to thank Adam for putting in so much work on this race set. The rest of the team, Rob, you know, everybody else, Michele, Alex, everybody on this team put in a lot of work to make this car really good, and it meant we could open things up and we could split strategies and still be able to get rally. Jacob gotten, you know, kind of bad timing cautioned and got himself back to the front, and great drive. I worked with him really well that first half, and unfortunate that he got caught out, but we're so good we could do a lot of different things.
And like I just pointed out, we talked about how there was cautions at the end of the race. Almost looked like you were going to bring out a caution. What was your thought process when you're almost sideways? Because that looked like it was going to be the big one.
Oh, I was very upset. I was yelling during that while sideways because the move was way too optimistic, and we're teammates, right? 12 to go. I haven't gone back and looked at it. I'll go back and look at it and see what truly happened. But obviously in the moment, I was very upset. So while saving the car kind of saved itself. I don't think I really did much other than just not overcorrect. But yeah, upset. I mean, in the end, we all recovered, we all lived, but it just felt very optimistic, and we'll go back and talk about it, right? You want to win the Indy 500. I get it. I wanted to win this race, and I'm happy I did well, but I finished runner-up or third the last 3 years. So, you know, you want to win. I get it, and we're all out there fighting for it. But yeah, anger at that time. You wanted to know the answer, so.
Yeah, I think that would be. I know it's a P2. Congratulations. I know it's commiserations. Jason, that victory should be yours next year. Congratulations, Jason.
Yeah. So wonderful running here, but it's 3 wide there. Lincoln Miguel, Kyle Hansen, Brandon Staton. 3 laps to go. Mateusz Kaczynski sits there in 4th and has a shot to it. Some big names in this field have gone out. Kevin King, former INDYCAR driver. Finian D'Acuna, who's a friend of mine over at FTF. There's also been dramas throughout the order for many. Anish Mehta 1 lap down, someone that I know very well from the wonderful scene that is out there for those who have put everything together in the formulas out there with the W13. 2 to go. Lincoln Miguel holds his ground.
holds his ground, and now we see the Serpentine, very aggressive Serpentine, trying to break that toe, and it allows him to keep this lead, because Hansen was getting a fantastic run out of that straight to try and look for the move. Not sure if he's got it done now. The question will be, will he go for this again? More Serpentine, and Miguel, he's looking a little bit nervous. Is it going to be him? Is it going to be Hansen? But I feel how close Hansen is. Hansen may get this lead coming into one, but then can he defend it? He's seen how aggressive Miguel is. I do wonder if he's got enough for in the tank.
Needs to get this big undercut sorted, and now all the way to the wall as they come towards the white. They know it goes official here, and Kyle Hansen trying to go the long way around Lincoln Miguel here to get it sorted. Is gonna get the run here into two off of the short shoot, and Lincoln still tries to hold his foot in. They will be side by side along the back stretch with Brandon Staten and Mateusz Kaczynski only passengers at this moment in time. Miguel still holds the inside at three. Three corners held on the inside, now into four. How does Brandon Staten's run look to go as they chase the Staters? Where do you go? Off the run to the line. Here comes Carl Hansen to the bricks. Lincoln Miguel holds on.
He came out of four the 3 laps we saw and had just a great run out of 4 every time, but he was hassled by Hansen. He just could not get it done, and that's it. Look at the names as well as we just go to look. Look at Stefan Walder in split 11. Always a fan favorite there, member of the community. We do know what he's good with his work. Javier Sanchez, it's another Indy 500 victory for Heike 360. That's gotta be something he'll be enjoying. Not sure what milk he'd be drinking, but you know, Jake, he'll be drinking the milk.
He very much will do. Nick Mercer getting split 2 honours as well, which was really good. We go to 10th split, still on right now. 16 laps to go here between Tyler Stafford, Angel Bonilla Soto, and Jerome Ruiz. They are sitting themselves up ready, and they understand that this is going to be a day for them where they just want it to be between them. Tim Garvey and Charlie Hollerith are there, and they are trying to tandem to get back to this group, but it feels like without help, it's to no avail.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering if they've actually got the ability, because there's no more fuel stops. Everybody has done their final stops here, so they're going to have to try and find the 4 seconds, but everyone's now in that max fuel. They're in that fuel mode 1 where they're just full set power. And Ruiz has got to be a little bit careful here, because he's starting to lose the train here, and that's just not going to help him as we look even more. 27th split, and that's just coming to the end with Fortigel. Mal Morag going to be taking this victory, and look at the names that have fallen by the sword today.
Everyone. Absolutely everyone has fallen by the sword here. You look around and you see the likes there of Aaron Murphy, Matty Smith, Rashad Brathwaite, Jan-Jaap de Vos has found troubles out there, and you turn around, Kim Mirkwood hasn't found the way it's wanted. Mel Moron has got a gap here of 17 seconds and will be pleased to have it over Thiago Rodriguez, with Michael Willis there in third, and 4 laps down, Josh Franklin at this moment. So this setting itself then towards the end of the race, I think is telling you, okay, this is what we're trying to get. This is what we need. And, you know, you're turning around. What a racing name you have that's fallen by the wayside there, Craig, and Angel Nieto.
What a name as well. You look at others as well. Kai Stump as well. Want to look at Rashid Brathwaite. I know a Carlos Brathwaite. Don't think they're any relation, but a lot of drivers here at the end as Moreland. They're just getting to the end now. This is what they're doing. They're accepting what's happened. No need to go. Ongo Nieto as well. Another driver fallen by the wayside. And realistically, just these 5 drivers, and that's an achievement. Even if Dylan Miller's going to finish 19 laps down, he's still going to be able to say, I finished the Indy 500. I can't say that, and I've done 2 races.
I can't, I've never started one. But Mel Morand here is going to be sitting with a lap to just bring it around town and say, this is all about what I need, what I've been putting myself in towards, and how hard I have been working to go and get this result. This has been a wonderful battle out there to say, right, I need to survive first and foremost. I need to prove that I've got the longevity when it comes to a race like this, and that longevity longevity factor makes a difference more than anybody else will know. Come through for Mel Moron, because you will head your way to the Yard of Bricks, and you add your name to many who have gone and got a result that so many have wanted. An Indy 500 for Mel Moron.
Almost winning it by half a lap, but a fantastic win. Just some more splits as well as you look to the bottom. There's Mel Moron in 27th. Jimmy Spatch, we did see him in the 29th split. He takes the victory as well. Other drivers as well. Michael iRacing, not iRacing, taking the victory there as more names now getting to the list as well. Vazquez in the 15th split. Brazil, the unlucky split there, but still gets it.
Yeah, we know that 7th split has just come across the line and has finished as well. So we now sit ourselves then understanding the way this goes here at 10th split. Still looking to battle. Jerome Ruiz starting to fall by the wayside here, Craig. Tyler Stafford now trying to battle with Angel Bonilla.
I think it comes back to what Jason Brophy was saying. This could be a battle of tyres now. And what De Soto and Stafford had. We know that when we came to them earlier that they were taking a little bit of tyre. Small wiggle there from Soto. Wonder if they just clipped the barrier there. I could not see fully. But they're trying to hold on, but they're not catching. They're unable to catch up there to Stafford. Now they get there, but the dirty air really, really affected them through here. They gained 2/10 on the straight. They're almost losing 2/10 through the corner, and they're going to need to try and find something to work with here, and hopefully it works out. But look at the time they lose for the corners compared to the straights.
And in a situation like this, it's so unique when you get right back down into it here, Craig, because it's not just the case that, oh, you've got something that can go and save you out there, that there's some dirty air, there's a car that can fall by the wayside as much. This is as pure as a finish to an Indy 500 gets, because it's just you and the car in front and the car behind.
Yep, and also it's the machinery, and can you hold on to this? And you just look when they came around to the corners, no lap traffic as well. No one that's going to help Stafford there. So Stafford is just going to need to hold the line, keep it tight, and look how smooth that car is. Almost there, Soto trying to see if there's a serpentine. Well, Stafford is putting a small serpentine, but it's just putting the car to the middle of the track and going, yeah, okay, you're not worrying me at the moment. I'm pretty happy where I am. And that's not exactly what you want to see, but Soto not getting the advantage, and even more time lost there by Soto through the straight. Dirty air in that car with old tires. It's not working for the 13.
It's not the way that you want. Oh, and a big wiggle there along the run into 3. So this is really starting to cost now. 1.1, 1.2. Any sort of catch and slide is going to be making a world's worth of difference. And now I think it's really setting itself up. Angel Bonilla now is looking backwards at second here. Jerome Ruiz might have a lease of life.
Just what Jerome wanted as well. And I wonder if that's actually going to help him, because can he now catch up to Stafford? Probably not. And now even with dirty air, Ruiz is struggling. So this is really an interesting story, because this means that the driver's having to almost go full fuel on that last stop, meaning the tire's getting worn a bit more, and you can see they're just trying to hold on to this. They are struggling. Even Ruiz right now, Tim Garvey, he might find himself in a lucky podium at this rate.
Tim Garvey might, and he knows that he's got to just claw this down and claw this down late. Tyler Stafford has given himself the leeway here on a run that is going to be nearing 3 hours worth of grind and effort, and in fact it will tick over for that long with how hard he's been having to work for it. But Tyler Stafford knows that he is now going to be reaching the danger zone soon. He's on lap 195, and he started this race in 5th position. Angel Bonilla from Costa Rica started this one 23rd, and Jerome Ruiz started this one in 17th place.
So they've really been able to capitalize on mistakes by others, and then also run into the right strategy, find themselves right place, right time. But they're starting to lose it because Soto has fallen off this. And, well, a few laps ago, we were probably thinking Soto had a chance. Starting to struggle. I'm not saying fuel, but I'm starting to wonder, with where we saw them last time, this could be a case of probably not taking enough fuel, or it could be the tires. But I just feel this could be all too much. Knight comes into the pit, so that gives you an indication that could be near that fuel limit.
half a second on that last lap for Tyler Stafford and Angel Bonilla. That's the difference, that Bonilla was slower. Jerome Ruiz took 0.2 of a second. Tim Garvey did a 40.5. This could be you next year out there. Cast, in trouble on pit lane. There going down through. How often do you see that? That is Chris Knight, who had to find reverse and get himself going. Now he's firmly in the lane because he was on the pit lane having that issue. No need to go yellow out there. It could be you. You can sign up for iRacing today. But Tyler Stafford happy with his margin, but Angel Bonilla looking behind because Jerome Ruiz hasn't given up. If there is any form of a cough, he's got away.
Goodrich into the pits as well, so there's your canary in the coal mine if they are struggling when it comes to fuel, because Garvey's starting to catch up a little bit here, and look at the gap. The gap's now almost like a second between each car right there, apart from the lead. Stafford really now just hitting the marks, and if he is struggling with fuel, well, you can start to think about, let's just turn it down a little bit, but not needing to worry too much. We're free to go. Just hit your marks. We're in the danger zone. But I don't think if we got Knight in the pit lane with a moment, don't think we'll be seeing that danger zone. The gaps are just too big out there.
Too big, too deep, too late. But there is Tim Garvey. He sits himself then at 0.9 of a second, and he knows that Jerome Ruiz is there and ready. He knows that he's got a chance to go and steal this one away. He's just got to draw that gap in. But as we know, Craig, the hardest second to catch in motorsport is the last one.
Yeah, you can get up there, you can do all your work, and then you get to the dirty air, you get to that 1 second mark. Good luck. You're going to need it. You're going to need all of it you can. Stafford now hitting the marks. I think Ruiz, he's too far away from Soto to really do anything. Garvey is going to give it all he can, but that gap is closing. I reckon Garvey could get a shock podium here on this split. That would be great for him, but the lights will be Tyler Stafford's lights, as he'll just get one more corner to go. Barney's going to drop that white flag, and he's just got 4 more corners left to claim his own Indy 500.
He knows how good he is. He knows what he has to do to make sure he makes it work. Just do not put a foot wrong this late on in the race. Garvey is still trying to hunt, but he's going to need help to get by Jerome Ruiz. But out of 2, onto the back stretch, going by Brickyard Crossing as they work a scare, then along in towards turn 3. Oh, that's going to be trouble. Oh, he's out! He's out! Tyler Stafford's out! Tyler Stafford's out of fuel! Here comes Angel Bonilla Soto, who's going to go through 4! Are you kidding me? On the final lap, he's short! Oh my goodness, Tyler Stafford short! Angel Bonilla has robbed an Indy 500! What a way to win!
We were talking about the fuel, and that's probably what Soto was doing. Garvey, out of nowhere, he got that podium he wanted. It just bunched up so much. What a win for Soto there, and that is completing the list.
Wow, what a list. What an important list. 29 names that have each to their own won the iRacing Indy 500 here, from the likes of Volder Art and Stefan Volder, Heike 360 ES. You got names like Eric Carstensen, who's managed it, Matt Webb, Pierre Brand has found his way to get there, David Ennis as well in split 28. Magnificent again here on iRacing, and I tell you what, there's a reason why the month of May is a special, special time, Craig. It's because you've got so many amazing battles here at the Brickyard to go with. It's the reason why it's the first open wheeler that we talk about in your iRacing special events.
It's the best open wheeler when you come to your special events, and it does mean as well that there's the burnouts as well. Look at that. That's what we didn't get from the top. He did his burnouts. That is what everybody wants to do. As I always say, you've won the Indy 500. Burn it down.
Right, here's your confirmation of results then from Top Split. Robert Malechka III gets his 4th iRacing Indy 500, and he does so by 0.6 over Jason Brophy and Philip Kraus for the 2nd straight year. Those 3 are in the top 3. Michele Costantini will be short again. He's 4th with Alexander Russell, a career best 5th, ahead of Adam Blocker and Jacob Oster. Jaden Munoz for Burosud would be 8th, ahead of Seb Alexander, as Brendan Lichtenberg would round out your top 10 in the order.
You get Adam Crane in 11th. Jose Soria will be 12th. Kyle Clenworth will take that 13th behind Logan Edward in 14th. Lucas Lodaro will be 15th, and then Lucas De Villiers will be 16th. Chad Simpson will finish in 17th with Christian Steele 18th, and then you've got the NX Esports guys, Esteban Rodriguez 19th, Jack Booster a lap down in 20th.
Yeah, a lap for Kevin Birrell, 3 in a row for Nexus, Jeff Drake, Ty Killer, Daniel Ferguson, 2 down, and finishers would be Pedro Palladino and Alexis Newsom, who had a drop. A real shame for her, she had a chance. Chris Fondanessa would be the first retiree, along with Hamilton Akabuezi. Christian Hildgore found himself out early, and you look down the final 3, Tamas Simon, Zach Rinker, and Jesper Dahlgren, making up the 33 who have made it to top split. My goodness, Craig. Indianapolis Motor Speedway is truly a special place. It is the oldest active racing circuit in the world. And is it any wonder why with racing like this here on iRacing?
Well, we wanted a showstopper. We got the showstopper. And it was not just at the top. Look at all the drivers we saw that got their victory. That is something that they can say to themselves, hey, I won the Indy 500. Those drivers will love that they competed today. But you got to the top. There is milk in the fridge. I think some drivers will be taking it.
And for those who don't, they're going to have to wait a year, get their new milk and say, right, we'll have another go next time we go around to it. But it's been absolutely magnificent. But there's so much amazing, great sim racing that comes up on the horizon. And I think you have to talk about the fact that the next great sim race coming up is the World 600, which is part of the NASCAR iRacing Series out there. And that broadcast split, 9 p.m. Eastern, May 22nd. Craig, I am looking forward to it. It is at the home of NASCAR, some would say, Charlotte Motor Speedway.
4 hours in the car, one of the longest races you'll ever do in NASCAR on your own. I've done it. You don't want to say you've not done it, because that's just a fantastic challenge for anybody. It is a premier special event when it comes to NASCAR driving.
Yes, but it's not your only NASCAR fix, because on May 19th, on Tuesday, you can jump in for the first time this year for the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Championship Series, because we are going to be jumping over here with the Coca-Cola 160 to start things off. The best of the best are going to duel it out on the ovals and prove that they've got what it takes to go and make it happen. A day of destiny, some would say. How often did we see the number 3 car come to the line and go and get the race result that was needed in the back pocket? It was a day where I think so many wanted to prove that as far as this goes, as far as any day goes at Indianapolis, it is one where it is a treat and a treasure to see great racing all the way to the flag. To everyone who's won over 2 weeks of racing, it is a pleasure to have brought along all of this running from myself, Jake Sperry, Craig King, and the entire crew behind. But one thing is for certain, as victory found itself formed, there is legacy, there is history, there are the best in the world, and then there is the GOAT. And there is only one GOAT now here in iRacing on INDYCAR ovals. It is very simply put, Robert Malechka III. 4 Indy 500s in his pocket, uncatchable, untouchable, immortal.